are you?
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
I know that, dude.
He's a modern-day Yoda.
I'm your huckleberry.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
Greetings and salutations.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
You're excited. Feel these nipples.
That boy's good. Mm-hmm. Good and terrible.
Well, I have a microphone, and you don't.
So you will listen to every damn word I have to say!
This is the Mike Rutherford Show on the Big X.
Sportos, motorheads, geek bloods, wastoids, dweebies, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Welcome to the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical, your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration. Call United Mechanical at 502-339-1133.
All right. Hello and welcome into the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, Louisville's newest construction management company. We're live here in warming up Louisville, Kentucky, here in the University of Louisville College of Business Studios. Cards fans looking for a competitive advantage in today's data-driven world? Earn your master's in business analytics from University of Louisville in just 12 months. No previous coding experience required. Dive into the world of analytics and data visualization, learning essential tools like R, Python, Power BI, machine learning, and more. Now available both online and in person. To get started or learn more, visit business.louisville.edu/U of L MSBA today. I am Keith Artoff. You might have noticed the voice a little bit different. It's not your usual Mike Rutherford. I know I'm not the natural host, but I'm the host that stepped up. And with me today, friend of the show, Matt McGavick of SI on Louisville or SI in Louisville?
Louisville Cardinals on SI.
Louisville Cardinals on SI. And, of course, if you were tuning in to the run-in with Producer Matt show, you got Producer Matt Childress in the back. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great, Keith. It's been a fun day. It's been a long day so far. I'm ready to get into this next show with you and Matt.
All right. Well, I know some big things have happened last night, and I hate to start today off with such a controversial topic, but it was something that I just can't ignore. As we come into the studio, the doors open, and Matt and I are able to walk in, and I see something truly abhorrent. I see little Howard knocked down coldly onto the floor, hat and glasses strewn about the studio. Even when Mike isn't here, it seems that those other shows just can't contain themselves and just constantly picking on and bullying little Howard after Mike didn't touch him for years. But it seems that same courtesy can't be shared both ways, and it's infuriating to see.
Let's just blame the KRC guys.
I mean, they're an easy target, so that's who I'm going to stick to. Matt, if this is the cross-examination, Matt, are those the most likely suspects?
Oh, 100%. I'm not putting that past TJ Walker and Nick Roush at all.
Absolutely devastating. Again, if y'all don't know where you're tuning into us, we are live on 1450 AM, 96.1 FM, WXVW, otherwise known as the Big X. Sort of taking a roundabout way to finish the intro to the show. We're live and on the air with you from 2:30 to 5:30 or to 5:25 this afternoon. So
math is hard.
It's very difficult. But you know what math I can do? 15 minus 11 equals 4. We were 4 points away from stealing a match against number 2 Texas last night. And Matt, you talked a little bit about it on the run-in show. Incredibly frustrating fifth set. And it seems like, and I want to bring up a topic that when I was last in studio, we talked about, teams that you don't necessarily have a good reason for not liking them, or not a great reason for not liking them. Texas is sort of working their way up that for me. Devontae Moore recruitment, baseball, they seem to always play tough games with us. Now volleyball, the national championship game.
Johnson, a couple recruiting cycles ago for men's basketball, he went to Texas. And I'm sure there's been some other Texas connections in the last few years that I'm completely forgetting about. But it just seems like Texas, while they haven't been like a primary thorn in Louisville's side over the last half decade or so, it seems like they're just like in the corner of your eye. They're just like that annoyance that won't go away. It's like, hey, I'm here to just ruin your day.
I'm here to make everything worse. I'm Texas. Just give me some barbecue. Texas.
We'll never speak ill of the barbecue.
Yeah, Texas though, slowly working its way up the teams. I'm starting to hate a little bit more. Like I'm starting to like get some horns down photos saved in my phone just to prey on their downfall. Matt, what about you? Are they working their way up? You seemed pretty heated in that intro segment talking about the volleyball match.
I am. One, it's not even just because of volleyball, like you guys said. Texas football this year has already kind of turned me away from them. I don't know what kind of pansy stuff that Steve Sarkisian's on right now, but like I didn't really care for them before. Like they're a really good football team, but gosh, I mean these dudes. I've never seen a team take a little bit of poor publicity to heart as much as Texas does, and I'm just not a fan.
Well, see. That's just the dark arts of being like a high-level program college football coach when you have more advantages than everyone else in the country. Kirby Smart, really good at this as well. Taking anything that most normal human beings would not perceive as a slight and just running with it like they just insulted your grandmama.
And trying to turn it into bulletin board material. I remember, I think it was after Georgia's second title of that back-to-back span, how there was one player afterwards, I can't remember who it was, but he was saying something to the effect of, you guys thought we were going to go 8-4, 7-5, and I'm just like, who thought Georgia was not even going to come close to sniffing the playoff? Like, I need names. Who thought that Georgia team would not steamroll through damn near everyone?
But God forbid a Georgia player take a driving test.
Hey, they can drive very good. Want to see how fast they can?
They're getting to Kroger before any of us are, I'll tell you that.
So, to steer things back, though, to the volleyball game, not all bad news came from last night's game. Of course, we're playing against the number 2 ranked team in the country, took them to 5 sets, had them on the ropes, and then just that rally in the 5th set where we have a good shot across the net. There was a bad dig that sent one of the Texas players scrambling into like the front row of the stand. She jumps, bumps it back, and they just have to sort of pass it over the net. Now, I'm not going to get on here, and maybe the Mesky texter on the Game Day Men's Health text line can offer some insight into this when we dive into the text line later in the show, because we want to hear from you on the Game Day Men's Health text line. I don't know why we didn't just immediately send something back, because when their team is scrambled out of positions, but no, we bump, set, and set up another hit. Texas is able to reset, and then they end up taking the point, and then it was just all downhill from there.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a premium opportunity to really not only just take control of the flow of the game down the stretch, and whether if it was a mental error or something was distracting you, I don't know what it was, but that allowed Texas to just get their foot in the door, and that was all she wrote for those final few minutes.
Yeah, immensely frustrating. So I plugged it earlier, didn't give the number. If you want to chime in and join the show today, feel free to join us on the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Chime in. Unlike Mike, producer Matt's going to be on top of the text line, and we're going to be grinding in the second and third hour of the show to make sure your voices are heard, because we care.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, I'm putting all the pressure on you, Matt. And to go on to it, where we're also starting to feel a little bit of pressure on the basketball recruiting trail. Mm-hmm. Things seem to be moving and shaking a little bit on the recruiting trail. We seem to be losing momentum with certain players and now trying to shift and gain momentum with others. I know, Matt McGavick, you've been trying to stay on top of things. What's the latest on the Louisville basketball recruiting scene you got for us?
So the most recent recruiting evaluation period opened up on September 1st, I believe. It was somewhat recent, and it lasts for, I believe, like the rest of the calendar year. And so Louisville's been kind of hitting the ground running as soon as this period started, especially in the last few days. I believe it was on Monday they went in to go see Boogie Cook and Josh Lindsay. Of course, a lot of people around here know, if you follow high school basketball at all, how good Josh Lindsay is. He's a sophomore or junior at St. X. I know he's still very young, but if you've ever watched his game, like he's the real deal. Like once those rankings come out for the class of 2028, he's going to be up there. Boogie Cook, wing at Cal, he's pretty good as well. And then on Tuesday, this is probably been the biggest recruiting news of the week so far with Louisville. Pat Kelsey and a couple assistants went in to go see Tay Kenny on Tuesday, and there's been some scuttlebutt that while Louisville has been the presumptive leader in the recruitment of Tay Kenny for quite a while now, for weeks, maybe if not months. But in recent weeks and days, Kansas has caught up a lot of ground in that recruitment, and it seems like based on people that I've talked to regarding the matter that it seems like it's close to a 50-50 split between Louisville and Kansas at this point, which, given this recruitment with Tay Kenny being the number one point guard, if you're losing ground instead of separating yourself from the pack, I mean, it's never really a good sign. Now, granted, there's still plenty of time left, but Tay Kenny has been on record before saying that he wants to commit before the start of his senior season. So while there is some time, if things get a little bit dicey, it's going to get late real early with this recruitment. And then I believe yesterday they also went in to see Colbin Landrew and Josh Irving. Both of those guys are 4-star prospects in the class of 26. Landrew is a 4-star wing, top 20 guy in the class who, over the last few weeks, is someone that Louisville's really made up a lot of ground. It seemed like Landrew might not have been like a legitimate option for Louisville about a month ago, and now it's to the point where if I had to guess like who would be in this class for Louisville, first guess would still be Tay Kenny until proven otherwise, even though they're in a fight with Kansas, and then number 2 would probably be Colbin Landrew at this point. Well, of course, this is recruiting. Things change from a minute-to-minute standpoint, but Louisville's positioned themselves very well in the recruitment for Colbin Landrew. And on the Josh Irving front, he's like I said, 4-star center, top 50 guy in the class. I'd probably put him in that next tier of prospects in terms of guys who could pull the trigger in that 2026 class. It seemed like Louisville was trying to go for a Hail Mary to get involved in the recruitment when they started like tossing their hat in the ring about a few months ago, or really starting to put in the full court press on that front. But last week or two, it seems like they're starting to emerge as a legitimate option for him. Okay. So that's something to monitor as well. And I don't know if what day this was specifically, but I know they were either planning on or have already taken visits to see a pair of players at Male in the class of 28. Jordan Mitchell and Trey Hillerick. One's a point guard, one's a center, so they're still trying to work on that local pipeline as well. And either yesterday or at some point today, they're trying to get another in-home visit with Tyron Stokes.
Okay.
Which we'll see how that pans out.
Now, full transparency, people who at least are familiar with what I do over at State of Louisville know, I'm more of a football guy than a hoops guy. Didn't Stokes just take a visit that kind of surprised people out to USC? So, because I thought his recruitment had sort of boiled down to like us, Kentucky, and I think Kansas was the front runner at the time. But
here's my stance on that. Yeah, Louisville, Kentucky, and Kansas are the front runner. But if you're a 5-star, number 1 overall recruit, and you have visits to burn, especially official visits where it's on their dime and not yours at all.
Trip to LA sounds great.
Exactly. Why not take the visits? You might as well.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't think USC is a major player. Now, granted, they were able to get on campus, so you never know with those things and how they go. But they're probably trying to just make up a bunch of ground on the 3 front runners in this recruitment. But, we'll see.
Now, Producer Matt, I got a question for you in the back room.
Okay.
Envision yourself, 5-star recruit, number 1 basketball prospect in the country. You have taken like your 2 or 3 official visits to the schools that you're actually considering. In this scenario where you have a couple visits to burn that are just on a school's dime, what school are you going to visit?
Any school at all?
Any school. Like, what school do you want hosting you on a visit? They're footing the bill just so you can go out and enjoy life as a number 1 recruit in the country for a weekend.
I think I'm taking Delaware.
Delaware, huh?
I think I'm taking the Blue Hens.
Why is that? What's up in Delaware that has you wanting to go check it out?
I mean, we just need to believe in this program. They're going to take D1 by storm.
See, now I I thought you were going to go on the upper class route when you said Delaware, but the Catamounts of Vermont, you could go do Martha's Vineyard on a recruiting weekend.
Dude, you are on it. Maybe we'll meet up in our recruiting trail.
Well, no, like realistically,
realistically, if I'm picking like any school in the country, it'd probably be a team in California.
Okay, so I was similar vein. 18-year-old me in high school, like my logic, I'd probably do an Arizona State just based on reputation alone.
I can see
I
that.
know what type of man I am.
I can see that.
How about you, Matt McGavick?
See, I have two answers: one for basketball, one for football, and it's kind of a chalky answer, admittedly. But on the basketball front, I mean, no one spends more money on recruiting visits right now than Duke. So if I'm a 5-star number 1 overall talent and I want to get wined and dined, I want to go somewhere where they have the most money and spend the most resources on you. So Duke on the basketball front. And when I describe a football program that has an opulent financial backing to them, what's the first team that comes to mind?
Texas.
Damn right, Texas.
Either that or ATM.
Well, yeah, that too, but at least Texas has a winning record.
That's funny you bring that point up because before, if you would have asked me this last year, I think I would have chosen like a Notre Dame or something just because of like, college life and, especially if it's football. After going to the Notre Dame Louisville game, that like culture that is up there in Notre Dame, I do not like it.
Really? Now, there are some stuff that's sort of off-putting to me, but I mean, if you come up in it, you're like they do the midnight mass after games and stuff like that. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but if you grow up in it, I could see that being something neat. And maybe it's the same thing with A&M. Now, I'm disappointed no one threw this out. Like football, if I was a big shot prospect just wanting to go somewhere for a weekend, I'm checking out the Brotherhood. Take me to the islands. I'm going to Hawaii. Have you seen the videos that they post? They have a campus tradition where, like, the team hotel they stayed at before their last home game, they carry all the seniors out from the, like, base, like, lounge of the hotel and carry them out to shore and then toss them in the ocean. And it's just stunningly beautiful, which is why it always perplexed me. Like, if you're like a mid 3-star kid who's not getting a ton of NIL offers coming out of high school, how is Hawaii not immediately on your list just to go live there for a couple of years? Because it is beautiful down there.
That's true, but I can see a lot of people being kind of homesick, and it's not an easy travel venture for family to come see you play or friends or what have you. So I can see why some prospects might not be too keen on potentially going to Hawaii, but as far as everything else goes, I mean, yeah, Hawaii's is as picturesque as it gets in the States.
That might be the best pull, because if I am that borderline D1 / NAIA athlete, like, I just got into D1 and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to go to a really big name school or it's play like D2 or NAIA. I'm going to Hawaii. 100%. I'll live in Hawaii and play basketball or play football 100%.
Yeah, like it's a program that, I initially fell in love with back in the day because I'm a nighttime gremlin watching Colt Brennan up late.
Colt Brennan.
I wasn't old enough to have a bookie back then, but if I did, man, that would have been a time.
You would have lost money there.
It's a program I fell in love with at a young age, and then just as I get older, I keep finding more and more things about it that I like, and now they got Timmy Chang running things down there. We'll talk a little bit more about football in the segment to kick off the 3 o'clock hour. We only got a couple of minutes left here in this first segment. So Bourbon and Beyond kicking off today in town this weekend. Matt's, either of you, any plans to go out and try and make it any of the days?
Nope. I'm going to spend my Saturday watching football.
Same.
Like the true college football sicko that I am. And besides, nothing against Bourbon and Beyond. I'm more of a louder than life guy.
So similar vein, like a lot of these, and maybe it's just because I'm old. I thought I was washed. Like, I'm looking at the acts that they have and been hearing them on the station a lot of the promotions for the acts. And it's like, I've heard of Fish, hadn't heard of Noah Khan, hadn't heard of Sturgill Simpson, I think I had heard of the Lumineers, but I couldn't name a song.
Oh, I've heard of the Lumineers.
It's like you have to get down to like the second sort of acts where it's like, oh, okay, I know these guys, like Jack White, Cage the Elephant, Scooter Dolls. those are the acts that I know. So at this point, it's like, would I even be going for the headliner? Like, why would I don't know. I think it's just a I'm old thing.
Yeah. Also, the Goo Goo Dolls are still touring? What?
Dude, Goo Goo Dolls rule, man. To detour a little bit, Heartbreak Keith time. Long story short, had a girl who I liked. We had a long friendship. Tried to advance things my senior year of high school. We're going to prom together, and I'm going to do the cheesy thing of ask her out at prom to like try and make things fit. And like 2 weeks before, she starts dating another dude, and I'm just like, oh, what are we doing here? And how this all ties to the Goo Goo Dolls is I hadn't heard them until she introduced them to me like 2 or 3 years prior. So it's just like, dang. Now every time I hear Goo Goo Dolls, it's like,
oh, my prom night sucked.
Just hits
high
home.
school Keith just sad.
Oh, my God.
And yet, still great. Love the Goo Goo Dolls.
I actually have never been to Bourbon and Beyond. Last year was going to be my first year going. I used to work at Topgolf before I got this job.
Okay.
And
love TG.
One of my bosses had tickets, and they had like drink tickets with them or whatever, and they couldn't go, so they were giving them away. And I was like, yeah, I'll take them. Sure, I'll go. This was on the Friday, I think. So the last year tomorrow. She didn't give me any information. I was like, this is for like the weekend, right? She says, yes. I grabbed these. This is obvious. This is at 8 p.m. that she gives them away. 8 p.m. There's like 4 concerts left that day, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I get there. I go pick them up. First off, I lived 40 minutes away. I drove all the way there to pick them up. And I was like, I'm about to leave. And she goes, yeah, I hope you have fun tonight. I was like, oh, I'm not going tonight. There's no way. There's only a few concerts. They were like, oh, there are only 4 tonight. What do you mean? I literally looked it up. Like, I went through the show sheet to see who's the. There were 2 acts left, and one of them was going on right then.
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, you should have just kept them.
My God. And I must have missed it at the beginning. You said this was current girlfriend or?
Oh no, this was my boss when I was at Top
boss. Okay, boss.
Slightly different.
Yeah, sorry, I don't got any Goo Goo Dolls girlfriend stories.
You know what? The turtle story from yesterday, I think, was good enough to make up for it.
The turtle story, I've already had like so many people ask me about the turtle story.
Okay, so if you weren't tuned into the Mike Rutherford show yesterday,
I wasn't.
First
I apologize.
First off, what are you doing?
Sleeping.
Producer Matt, give the TLDR like 2-minute version of the turtle story for Mr. McGavick here. I want to see his face.
So, I was in a relationship like right before COVID and during COVID, and this, there was a story beforehand that kind of opens this up. But she wakes me up at 4:45 in the morning, calling, crying. We both work night shifts, so it wasn't surprising she was up. She's like, "You need to be over here now. You need to get over here right now." And I'm like, "Okay." And then she hangs up, and I get in the car. I drive over there. She won't answer my phone. I'm freaking out. I get over there. She is hysterical, like throwing up, almost crying. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm thinking like somebody passed away. And she shows me her pet turtle that is now passed away, is dead. And I'm like, oh man, babe, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And then she's like, we got to bury him. I'm like, oh, okay, like where? And then I had to get a metal spoon and dig in the backyard a hole for this turtle. And then afterward, I finished burying him, and while I was doing it, she had us make like a gravestone out of cardboard and write his name on. His name was Squirt. And while I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, maybe we go to sleep, whatever. She looks at me with tears in her eyes and goes, are you not going to say anything? So I had to give like almost an obituary for this turtle at 4:45 in the morning.
That's about the reaction I expected. Yeah. So, yay. And the fact that his name's Squirt just makes it so much worse.
You couldn't find anything bigger than just a metal spoon?
I mean, it was. I'm telling you, this was like in a high pressure situation. She was already carrying him outside. I had to grab the first thing I saw. It was just in the sink. It wasn't even a clean spoon. Like
there wasn't a garden spade.
No, not enough time. It was an emergency.
You're not gonna say anything. Give an obituary for your pet turtle.
To quote Derek Zoolander, it's a you-googly. Not an obituary. So, you know what? If you think you can top producer Matt on a ex relationship story like one of those, go on and fire it off here to the Game Day Men's Health text line here, 502-414-1450. We'll be pulling a lot of texts from you all coming up later in the show. It's bye-week radio. But just because of that, we got a little bit of football coming up to you here in the next segment. We got some cryptic hints of some potential help on the way for the Louisville offense. We got some immediate recruiting visits going on after what they saw over the weekend. Big Dog already getting back to work. And then, we've got the greatest fans in the world of the James Madison Dukes continuing to give us just prime internet quotes telling us how we didn't win, they lost. And we got a lot more of that coming up here in the next hour.
They're just so much better than us.
They're better than us, and they know it. So the Globo Gym vibes from that fan base are just
here at James Madison. We're better than you, and we know it.
Laser, laser.
Are you ready for the Dukes?
So we've got the last little bit of hopefully getting James Madison out of our system before we get to the weekend and we officially close the page and turn our eyes onto Pudge the Cat and the Bowling Green Falcons. So get ready, get your popcorn, get your milkshake, get ready for hour 2 of the Mike Rutherford Show coming up here in the next segment.
Lonely life. I've been sleeping here instead. I've been sleeping in my bed. Sleeping in my bed. So show me family.
Southern Indiana, you've seen prices rise from the dinner table to the pump. Hello, I'm your local Allstate agent, Stephen Beatty, and I can save you money on your insurance. From starting a new policy to bundling coverage or even
Welcome back into the Mike Rutherford Show, presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, Louisville's newest construction management company. Keith Artoff on the ones and two here with me, as always, Matt McGavick, and, of course, producing the absolute hell out of this show, producer Matt Childress in the back. We're hopping into segment 2 of the day today, and we were talking a little bit about some upcoming football talk. But before we dive into that, got a little bit of some, I'm not going to say full-blown breaking news because it's not news, but we got some new Evan Maya projections coming out. Now, producer Matt, we got to play the guessing game. Where do you think Louisville comes out in the latest batch of Evan Maya projections?
I don't know. Top 15.
Just outside the top 15, so it is in the top 25, so I've narrowed it down to 10 spots. Give me a guess.
22.
You think too little of us. Louisville coming in 19th in
man.
the most recent batch of Evan Maya projections for the upcoming season.
I didn't think I was that close.
Yeah, you were pretty close. I mean, a couple spots away, yeah.
I mean, look, we got a pretty good team. We're not going to be completely out of the equation. Come on now.
Yeah. And then going by these preseason projections, they've got the number 12 offense, which I would think there'd be a little bit higher than that. And then, of course, on the defensive side of the ball, they're coming in at 28th, which is probably a lot higher than I think most people would expect, because when you start to think of what this team can accomplish and all the players they have, the discussion revolves around offensive capabilities and how, like, basically they can name their score with the amount of talent that they have, and then defense kind of gets lost in the shuffle when having these conversations. But Evan Maya's preseason rankings, they're really big on Louisville's potential capabilities on the defensive end of the court. And then interesting, something I noted is that there's also something called roster rank, which is a crude ranking of each team's strength of roster. This is largely based on the individual BPR values of all the players on the roster. TLDR basically ranks teams by talent. Where do you think Louisville comes in this metric?
14th.
No, higher.
Ooh. All right, Matt, your turn.
11th.
Higher.
6th.
Damn, right on the nose.
Yeah!
Yeah, they are the number sixth most talented roster in college basketball per Evan Maya's preseason ranking. The top 5 in front, I mean, no surprise, Purdue, Michigan, Florida, Duke, and Houston. Michigan, I think, is a little bit high, but the other 4 there, I mean, that tracks.
You know who else has a talented roster, by the way?
Who?
Our friends over at the Collier Law Firm, sponsors the Collier Law Firm hotline. And, if you need someone to defend you against those big, mean insurance companies, go after Tony. He's rooted here in Louisville. He's from here to dive into another. He's from here. You know that, right? Grew up in Fern Creek, family in Portland, Shively. You know this man knows how to fight and win. All the attorneys at the Collier Law Firms have a insurance defense background. They know the other team's playbook. They know the tricks that they're going to try and do to get out of paying you what you deserve, and they're not going to let them do it. And also, their attorney's fees. They start at 25%. Some of the big name firms out there put that client fee up like 40, 50%, taking half of your recovery. At that point, what's the point of even going for a recovery? At the Collier Law Firm, they put the clients first. They're looking out for you, not just your wallet. So, huge shout out and thanks over to our friends over at the Collier Law Firm. And another huge shout out and thanks to our friends over at Gameday Men's Health, sponsor the Gameday Men's Health text line. Be sure to dive in, get in there, get your thoughts heard. We'll get those out of the way. Matt, how is the Gameday Men's Health text line looking? I know normally we wait until after the first hour of the show to dive in, but it could be a text line heavy day. It's a bullpen game because we're going into a bye week. We got anything popping off on the text line already?
We got a couple texts. If you want to get into some of them, I can read them off.
Let's get into them.
Hear it.
Okay. This one says, texter says, Reds baseball in the wild card this season over and over again to the end. And it's a meme that just says, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
We don't talk about the Reds on this program.
Listen, I am too emotionally invested in Reds baseball. And that because that meme is so incredibly accurate. They'll have runs where the Reds look like they can take on anyone in baseball, and you think, okay, this maybe this is the year we not only make the playoffs but actually win our first game for the first time in however long it's been, 2 decades. And then they'll go in streaks of a week or two where they just look pathetic, and you're just thinking, well, why the hell did I even follow this team? It's like, and then they're kind of playing with you. They're seesawing between, oh, we're creeping up on that final wild card spot. Oh, they're starting to lose ground. Oh, they're getting there. Oh.
after they lost their game, I don't even remember who it was to, when they were half a game back and the Mets had lost, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're going to make a wild card spot, and they lost. I just checked out. I was like, look, I can't do it. I'm just getting too upset every single night in and night out. It's just like Matt said, it's back and forth.
Matt, you've missed out on a conversation going on the show the last couple of days about, it was actually funny enough, a Dolphins fan texted in asking if he could abandon the Dolphins.
Yes.
And it was sort of a situation where it's like, look, man, I get it, but you can't go to a front runner. But, it was a wise quote from Shawshank Redemption that describes what you were just talking about. Hope's a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane.
That's very true. It's the hope that kills you.
That's so true.
With that, I'm going to see if you guys still have hope left. The Reds, 5 series left in the regular season. They've got 3 at the Athletics, 3 at the Cardinals, 4 at home against the Cubs, 3 at home against the Pirates, and they end with 3 at Milwaukee. I'm not even going to start with playoffs. Right now, the Reds are 74 and 72. Do they finish above 500?
I mean, they're 2 games above 500 now. They're tied with the Giants. They're right behind the Pirates for the final wild card. Them and the Giants are 2 games behind. And then you look at the schedule. I mean, I feel good about them having to go to the not Oakland Athletics. St. Louis hasn't been very good this year, but fine. Chicago is in the thick of the wild card hunt too, so that's going to be very difficult. Pittsburgh is not. I cannot tell you how much I hate that the Reds are ending the season at Milwaukee, because just when you think that the Reds are building up some goodwill and they're getting things together, in come the Milwaukee Brewers to take a baseball bat to their face. Because for some reason, the Brewers are like a Horcrux to the Reds. Like, they can't beat them.
Can I tell you exactly what's going to happen?
They're going to get 1 game behind. Someone's going to lose to get them to half game, and then they're going to lose their final game.
It's going to be even worse than that.
Oh, don't tell
the
me
Reds
that.
they're going to perform well, and they're going to be a game and a half in the lead going into this last series against Milwaukee.
You're so right.
And then they're going to get swept by the Brewers. And the Mets are going to sweep their last 3 games of the year, and the Mets are going to take the wild card. Or maybe it's the Giants, but whomever it is, that's how it always goes for the Reds. There is no hope. There is only pain. And until you learn to accept that, you will continue to suffer the cruel, unending, agonizing pain.
They end at the Marlins, too.
Look, when I was doing the Running with Roman show before you guys got in here, and I talked about how I'm checked out, and yesterday Mike tried to ease me back in a little bit, and then when I went into the room, the talent room over there to check in on you guys, and I saw Matt's shirt, I actually I got a little angry. It's almost like it's chasing me down. I fully escaped, and it's just everybody keeps just trying. They're trying everything to get me back in, and I won't do it.
It's like you were talking about your fantasy football as well. It's like that little voice in the back of your head. Go ahead, draft Kyle Pitts.
It'll be different this year.
I have Kyle Pitts on my team right now. I'm not gonna lie.
No, you fell for the hype.
No, I got him in the 14th round. He's on my bench.
This is the year. Start him.
Let me tell you, if the waiver wire gets hot, he's the first one to go.
So to steer back though, because I want to give my side of this story as well. So me and Mike had sort of been arguing over text about there's a Dolphins fan who texted in asking if it was okay if he could get his kid not to root for the Dolphins, which, I mean, it's borderline worthy of calling CPS if you let your kid root for the Dolphins. And then if he could follow the kid with personal opinion, yeah, but you can't go cheering for some team that's red hot right now. And I have a confession to make. I do have a bit of experience with this with hockey. When I first got into the sport is 2014, 2015, I was just a huge Columbus Blue Jackets guy. Dove in, had an Army buddy who was a Blue Jackets guy. We had a setup. He bought a TV mount and a Wi-Fi hotspot at the PX. So we were able to watch games every night on NHL Network because he had a subscription, including the Jackets. And I fell in love with that team. And then I watched John Tortorella run off every single superstar that team could get their hands on. They were already fighting an uphill battle because it's Columbus, and for whatever reason, the stigma around the NFL is, there's nothing to do in Columbus. They said it, not me. I like the city. It's pretty fun. And then just year after year, pieces would come out. The Athletic would put out surveys. Oh, what coach other than you own would you most and least want to play for? And John Tortorella was always at the very top of the list because no one wants to play for him because he's the type of guy who will bench a star player for not blocking a slap shot with their junk in practice. So it got to a point where the final straw was when they ran off Sergei Bobrovsky. My boy. Love that guy. And he went to Florida. So at that point, I was out. So I abandoned the Blue Jackets. I did like a year or two as a fan free agent. I thought I was going to pick up the Blackhawks. They were down bad. Then I moved out of Chicago, moved back to Kentucky. So now I'm still in sort of that limbo. I'm leaning towards
Nashville?
That's what I was leaning towards, picking up the Preds. But that was my experience with abandoning sports fandom. And at the point I left the Jackets, they had won one playoff series for the first time in franchise history when I jumped off the wagon.
Oh, gosh.
And, and there was some heartache along the way. Like the bubble year, they had one of the longest postseason games in NHL history. It was like,
was it that 4-hour game?
It was like a 4 or 5.
Donahue is looking in on the patch, just beating on it. No! Just trying to get you to just not pick that team.
I'm just alarmed that at one point you actually thought about becoming a Preds fan.
Oh, that's where I'm at now, man.
Like I
like Roman Josi. I like UC Saros. Those are some of my guys.
Nothing wrong with the team. I just couldn't be fan of a team that goes by the Preds or the Predators. Like I can't wear that on a shirt. I can't do that.
Okay, clearly you have not watched the Arnold Schwarzenegger classic film Predator. Otherwise, you might think a bit differently. Like I still think they need to give the saber-toothed tiger mascot some like Predator dreads one night and incorporate that movie.
That would be
right?
Cool.
Amazing.
Right? But you mentioned the beating on the glass scene, and it's like, no. That was me watching the offensive line against James Madison on Friday. It was rough.
Yeah. It was not a great time in the trenches.
So, and before we sort of dive into the conversation on that, Matt's, I know a lot of people sort of complained about the early bye week before the season. After seeing how we played against James Madison, what are your thoughts on where the bye week is coming now?
I mean, I still don't like it. I mean, you've only played 2 games. If you're already needing a bye week to like heal up, there's something wrong. Now, I'm not saying that Louisville needs it for that reasons, but still, they're going to have to fire off. How many games is it in a row after they play Bowling Green?
It's like we have 2 or 3 in a row, and then
3
we
in a
have
row,
another
and then
bye week, and then a 7-game ace.
Yeah, that's going to suck when they have to play Clemson and SMU in Kentucky, and they're going on their 5th, 6th, 7th week in a row without having a bye.
7.
Yeah.
Is that the sign for Taylor Kinney, where you subtly trying to recruit him over the radio airwaves?
It might be, but anyways, I mean, considering some of the inconsistencies that we saw in that JMU game, at least on the offensive side, it might not be the worst thing in the world to have the bye week right there, just because, I mean, and not even just from the player standpoint, from an execution standpoint, from an effort standpoint, because I think all of us who watched that game, and even some of us who went ahead and rewatched it too, like, yeah, the actual play of the offense, especially on the offensive line, wasn't good, but the actual game plan itself from the coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball was not great. It seemed like there's 1 or 2 games a year where Brom, we know he's a great offensive mastermind, but there's 1 or 2 games a year where you just question what he's doing, and he just has like a brain fart, and he just doesn't know like how to actually approach and adjust what's going on. And this was one of those games. Like James Madison saw in film review that they were going to get a bunch of success with basically sending the kitchen sink at Louisville. And Brom, while to be fair, Miller Moss didn't do great with pressure in his face, Brom didn't do a fantastic job when it came to adjusting pressure so that the offensive line can counter some of these blitzes, because some of them were exotic, some of them were just simply I have more men than you. And 2, Brom didn't really adjust like some of the route combos and some of the concepts so that they could take advantage of the fact that when you're blitzing that many men, there's going to be areas of space that are going to be void of defenders that would normally be there dropping back into coverage. Now, Brom did add in postgame that JMU was doing a very good job at combining, sending like being heavy on the pressure, and while also simultaneously sitting on some of these short route combinations that Louisville likes to run. So on one hand, tip of the cap to Bob Chesney and company for putting together a spectacular defensive game plan, but in the same breath, it seems that Brom didn't even really try to do a whole lot different from towards the end of the game versus the beginning. Like there weren't a whole lot of adjustments that you could pick up on as the game was going on. Like, oh, like they're doing this instead of that. Like it just seemed like for the majority of the night, the game plan was just running into the wall, and not really making a ton of adjustments.
Yeah, if we're going to get on a little tangent on the game plan side of things, I was disappointed in the lack of check with me's when it came to, like, I don't know if it's a lack of Miller Moss having the freedom to do some things, or if it was just Miller Moss not taking those opportunities, because there were multiple times where they're showing 7, even at times 8 guys in the box. You've got numbers on the outside where no one's on the outside. You have a running back on the same side as a wide receiver who's got a one-on-one matchup. Just hot check a swing route and just get your elite playmakers in space and let them run, let them break a tackle. Mm-hmm. It seemed like we were really trying to stay between the tackles. The offensive line struggled to pick up zone blitzes, got okey-doked a lot, looked slow, didn't peel back on assignments, and you saw players getting shuffled in the first quarter on the offensive line. And I preamble with all that to say that if some tweets are to be believed, help could potentially be on the way. Trevante Sylvester's father tweeting out that I believe it was "See you soon," and it was 4 some odd pictures of Trevante Sylvester, who's been out banged up to start the year and hasn't had a chance to play.
Yeah, he said, "See y'all real soon," and tagged the football count, 502 circle, and the ACC football count. So
it looks like, if that's to be believed, I don't think there's a speculation sounder. So whatever sort of preamble warning for speculation this is, it looks like we could potentially have Trevante Sylvester back in time for the Bowling Green game, and I think that could help a ton riding the ship on the offensive line, just because he's someone who's been in the system a long enough time. He was going to be the starting left tackle coming into the season, so that you can sort of shore up the other positions on the line. Like Pounders had played right tackle all of training camp, flip him to the left side. You would think it wouldn't be that big of a swap. It apparently was.
Apparently it's big enough to where like your technique and your fundamentals get completely flipped. Because some guys can pick up on simply just mirroring it, and some guys, they struggle with really like the fine tune of the motor skills that requires it simply. Instead of having this hand back here, you have this hand back here. But some guys, the muscle memory is just so built up that like when it's time to do like basically the opposite of what you're doing in terms of the technique goes, it doesn't compute. So maybe it's something along those lines.
It takes a little bit to develop the motor skills, especially when you're doing the shuffling in the game. Like they had Musa play right tackle. They moved him to left tackle. They had Lance Robinson move from guard to tackle, rather than move Rasheed Miller back out of the guard spot into tackle. Like, I was curious about a lot of the personnel decisions. We didn't see Vic Cutler at all, despite seeing him a lot in training camp. Okay.
Still. I will say it. He was hurt for the EKU game. I think he might have still been hurt for that one. Okay. I think it's a relatively minor injury, but still it's enough for him to be held out.
Yeah, and then didn't see Nair Jackson either, which I
haven't heard anything on the injury front with him. Like, if he's not seeing action and he's healthy, it's disappointing, but given that he didn't have that great of a fall camp, it's not super, super surprising.
Which is wild, because he was with the ones in spring ball.
Yeah,
like,
he was doing fantastic in the spring.
So maybe,
you and I are big Philly fans.
Yeah.
For some reason, it didn't translate in fall. He's not been getting opportunities so far this season because of it.
So I say all this with the concerns about the O-line, and especially with the transfers that came in. Coaching staff got to work almost immediately. It was borderline comical. So we have the game Friday. Saturday's the game day and probably like a big film study chop shop. And then Sunday, Big Dog made his way up into the state of Ohio. And Luau Alou, 2027 offensive tackle, 6'5", 295, tweeting out, got my offer from University of Louisville, which I had said in conversations like, man, I don't know what Big Dog's doing. We need to send him up, get him up into Ohio, Pennsylvania, and send him out to the Midwest. Let's get some linemen.
I mean, he saw the efforts on the line. He's like, oh, I need some big boys.
And while he was making a pit stop in Ohio, we picked up a bit of a pretty high-profile offer, if I do say so myself. 5-star wide receiver. Oh, no, the tab closed. Matt, you going to be able to bail me out?
It's 5-star receiver out of Cincinnati, so not too terribly far from here. Lorenzo McMullen Jr., 5-star guy, number 12 overall. Not just wide receiver, number 12 overall prospect in the class of 28. Number 4 wide receiver, number 1 guy in the state of Ohio.
Man, those are the type of guys that really get you excited about recruiting. Oh, yeah. And look, I'm not going to be unrealistic and go out expecting us to land every single one of these, if hardly any of them. But you land 1 or 2 kids like that.
Yeah, you at least put out the initial feelers to see if this recruitment will go somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, and if you can put that out and actually get something going and land a kid like that, that's a program changer for a program like Louisville that's sort of been on the outside looking in when it comes to like real national power recruiting. So,
and that's what you bring in a guy like Vince Marrow for. You bring in someone like him who's got the recruiting prowess, has the recruiting chops he does. I mean, he's probably the most underrated recruiter in college football because he was bringing like 4-star guys aplenty to Kentucky. So if you can do that, imagine what you could do to a program that's actually invested in football, that's actually winning in football. Special things can happen.
The list of teams, at least on 24/7, that like have offered him is not extensive either. And I mean, the biggest name on there is Michigan State.
And at this point,
besmirch the Spartans.
Well, at this point, I would argue that at least in terms of national prestige or like observation, Louisville's probably in a more favorable position than the Spartans at this point. Like, yeah, if you're going to factor in like history and things like that, I'm not saying that Louisville's had a more prominent football program all the time over Michigan State, but as the game is right now, Michigan State hasn't really been a contender for the Big Ten since.
They did beat Boston College last weekend, though.
Man, that was
big win
a great game. That was a great game.
That no defense was played. none whatsoever.
Hey, there's a reason Aiden Childs is one of the Whoopsie Daisy King nominees.
Very
but
true.
No, you look at Michigan State. They haven't contended for the Big Ten in since the days of Kirk Cousins?
Since D'Antonio. Like, people forget that in that very first 4-team college football playoff, Michigan State was in that mix.
Yeah, but they didn't even win the Big Ten that year or contend for the Big Ten that year, did they? Or actually, in the very first college football playoffs, yeah, that was 15, 20 years ago at this point.
But that was after Kirk Cousins, wasn't it?
I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm a complete historian on the state of Michigan State football. All I'm saying is national prominence as of right now, Louisville gets talked about a lot more than the Spartans do.
Well, yeah,
and their road to winning a championship got even harder in the Big Ten. Like, yeah, you're going to get more bids as a league.
Yeah, they beat Iowa that year in the Big Ten, yeah.
Okay, so they did get Iowa that year.
And then promptly lost 38-0 to Alabama.
Yeah, what year was that?
That was 15.
Okay, so, yeah, 10 years ago.
Kirk Cousins finished his career at Michigan State in 2011.
Okay, so I was off by 4 years. I appreciate.
Old!
I'm getting tag teamed by the Mats over here. This is brutal. Other football thing. I thought I had one more football nugget that we had.
So, on top of getting the 2 guys offered in the state, both were in Ohio, correct?
Yes, both Cincinnati.
They also this past Sunday landed a guy in the state of Ohio. There was Taj Powell, who had previously been committed to West Virginia since I believe April, and then he visited for the EKU game. About a week goes by, and then Big Dog does Big Dog things and gets Taj Powell to flip.
You know, and I'm not just going to credit Big Dog for this. The fans actually showing up, getting 50K in the building for a game against EKU. That's the type of thing that recruits love seeing. and that's the type of thing that makes an impact. So now we have a new kid. I think some places have him listed as a linebacker, some have him listed as a safety.
So I already did a film breakdown on him. He is someone who in this defense would project at like that star position.
Exactly.
He is in high school right now. He's like an outside linebacker slash slot corner slash safeties, but in the college level, he'd fit really well in that star position. He's got a really good set of athletic intangibles. He's really explosive off the ball, takes good pursuit angles. His side-to-side movement is a little bit lacking, but he does a very good job at whether it's going against the run or dropping back into coverage. His north-south footwork is very good. So he's already got that going for him. He does a very good job at tracking the ball carrier, whether he's taking good pursuit angles against like a ball carrier in the backfield or trying to like sit in the zone. Like he's not going to be the star of the class, but he's pretty good.
You know who else is pretty good? All of you all on the Game Day Men Health text line 502-414-1450. We'll hear from more of you coming up after the break to start the next segment.
Give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now.
Welcome back into the Mike Rutherford Show here on 1450, the Big X. Keith Artoff, Matt McGavick, Matt Childress in studio for you today. And we're going to try and kick things off here on the second hour of the show with you all here on the Game Day Men's Health text line. I am having trouble getting text groove. You're a brutal text groove. So, Matt, I'm going to rely on you to at least get things started. So, all
right, I got you.
All right.
Which Matt? There's two of us here. Every time you say Matt, I'm like, okay, is it me?
If Matt McGavick has it open over there, I'm impressed. That man's locked in, ready to go.
90s levels of computer hacking skills.
This one says, you kind of already touched on it a little bit. It says, hey, producer Keith, can we get a solid hour of O-line talk on today's show?
Hell yeah, brother.
Also, is Big J journalist Matt McGavick still associated with From the Pink Seats? Will we hear from him on any episodes this season?
All right, so it wasn't necessarily my place to dive into this. So I'm going to keep it very high level with regards to Pink Seats. Yeah. It's all Matt McGavick's fault. He decided to go super big time on us and completely big league us. Now, there was just some behind the scenes stuff. So,
but it's all water under the bridge now.
Yeah, works out better for both parties to at least let's do our own thing. And yeah, I'm always happy to have Matt on the pod. So. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, by the way. So if you want to listen to more of me talk football from the Pink Seats podcast, anywhere you get your podcasts on YouTube, keep on rolling, Matt. Producer Matt.
The Riddler texted in.
Okay.
Riddler here. We're getting a lot of national love for our basketball team to win the Natty. Trilly said he likes us. Also, I'm seeing reports that JQ's dad lied, in quotation marks, about his injury and that he probably won't play until February or March. What a shame. If we lose to these bozos, I'm going straight to the 2nd Street Bridge from the Yum after the game.
Well, I mean, let's not go too far, but yeah, I did see some of the news where it appears Quainton's at least.
I actually had not seen that.
So they had talked about it a little bit in previous episodes where he has not yet been cleared for not even for non-contact drills, right? Just for contact.
I did see that from a few days ago, but I didn't think that meant that he might not be able to go until February. Is that what the updated reports are talking about?
So I haven't seen any reporting talking about him not being good to go until then, but I had seen speculation where he may not be good to go in time for our game, which in just wanting to have a better roster. Oh, that's terrible. But also,
it's like the meme where it's the guy wearing the shirt that says, I hate it when the opposing team's best player gets hurt.
But also at the same time, I don't want to give him excuses. No. So, like, when you want to play a team, you want to beat them at their best. I've also let it be known on the show, I'm not like super into the rivalry like a lot of people. Like,
I try not to be.
I'm very much a big advocate of, hey, if both teams are good and it raises the stakes and raises the prominence for both programs, I think that's a good thing. I get it. Like, I have that hater bone in me for teams like Cincinnati and West Virginia. So,
Memphis State.
Exactly.
And to borrow a line from Pat Kelsey, you're not going to sharpen your teeth eating oatmeal. And so, I mean, Kentucky still has plenty of talent, but you would long-term, like some of those big men would benefit from having some of those early season battles against someone who is generating NBA draft buzz for next year. So him not being out there, sure, it's going to mean that Louisville's got a slightly better chance of winning. But, I mean, when it gets to conference play and some of these other teams do have some of those big men in the middle, it'd be situations where they'd have benefited from facing someone like that in the past so that they know what to do moving forward.
Yeah, so, okay. Now let's hypothetically put you in Mark Pope's shoes. So
I am tall.
First off, happy birthday then, if you're Mark Pope. Today's his birthday, by the way. And
what a bummer birthday.
Hey, the first 35 years of his birthday were probably cool, and then it got ruined. So,
yeah, and I'm just gonna
do you try to rush Quaintance back for the Louisville game, or are you just okay?
No. That's the smart. I mean, yes, modern medicine is a lot better when it comes to fixing ACLs than say 5, 10, 15 years ago. But I mean, for the sake of both him and the team, yeah, would you like to have JQ out there against Louisville? Of course, there's no doubt about that. But I mean, you put him out there early and he's not ready. Hell, I mean, Louisville football just saw last year when Colin Lacey rushed back to try and get back, and he just wasn't effective. He ended up having to opt out for the rest of the year, take a red shirt, and now he's fully healthy now, so it ended up benefiting Louisville. But I mean, let's say you rush JQ and he gets hurt, maybe not against Louisville, but in one of those few games like in the start of the season, and then you've got him set back, so he might not even be able to play the rest of the year. So is it really worth it to try and give you an extra edge in the Louisville game if it means risking the rest of the season? I don't think it's worth it.
Well, I mean, wasn't it like a month or two ago that video of him came out where he was like dunking in a gym? And if the roles were reversed and it was like Ryan Conwell was coming off an ACL injury and he wasn't going to start the season, and I saw that, I think I would like fall to my knees and like start throwing up and crying.
Screaming, crying.
I'd be like, please just stop playing basketball for a little bit.
Yeah. Just like, no, like, don't jump.
Well, I'll tell you a similar sort of experience I had, not necessarily with an injured player, but at the, I believe it was the spring ball open practices. And, of course, big Deuce Adams guy was watching him. He was slinging it across the yard. And one of the days where he had particularly looked very good at practice. And there was an individual who brought a very large cane Corso with them to practice. And afterwards, a few of the players were going up and going to pet the dog. And funny enough, me and a friend of the show, Keith Wynn, both said the same thing when Deuce went to pet the dog. We're both like, left hand, Deuce. Don't pet the dog with your throwing hand. All right, I think I got Text Groove up and running, so I think I should be able to dive into it. Packers fan Adam, a.k.a. Donut Factory guy here. Live in Lexington and heard, and it's in quotes, so I'm going to do my best to make the group proud. No, they're starting Cutter this weekend.
Mike tried to bait me into doing Rowan's part yesterday, and I was like, that would do Rowan so dirty, I can't do it.
Nah, I don't think it's I think that we should all embrace it. Like, it's not just Mike and Roman. Everybody.
I didn't want to butcher it. I didn't want to butcher it and then ruin the joke. I'll be honest, I was nervous.
We'll get you a mirror back there in the producer room so you can practice on it. But live in Lexington and heard, no, they're starting Cutter this weekend.
I mean, they probably should have started Cutter to begin with.
When I got to work this morning, almost laughed out loud in the clinic. Feels good to rule the North again, Mike. Here's a parlay for tonight to make the Lions' downfall a little less painful. Packers money line. Jacobs over 60 rushing yards. Dobbs anytime, or I assume that's Dobbs anytime TD. Sprinkle a little of Wick's first TD2. Stay glazed. Go Pack go. I'm pretty sure those words will never be uttered on this program again.
Dontavian Wicks did look.
If I was a Packers fan,
insufferable.
This might be just a personal thing, but I don't think if my team was on primetime, I could ever put a full parlay of just my team's players on there. Like I feel like I would be cursing my own team.
It seems too stressful. Like you'd be even more emotionally invested as a fan than you normally are, and that might not be a good thing. If it's like a really close game, or like they ended up winning in a blowout, but if that blowout doesn't involve the players you have in your parlay, you can't even be happy at that point.
I'm also a bettor that a lot of people don't like, in which that if I ever bet on Louisville games, I always bet against them. So we either win and I win, or we lose and I win.
Yeah, you hedge your heart.
Exactly.
That is the approach I take for a lot of like the marquee games. Same thing. Like I did that for Notre Dame last year. Like either we win and I'm ecstatic, or what happens, and I got my trip to Notre Dame paid for. So I essentially justify it. How much money am I willing to pay to get a Louisville win?
Yeah. Fair.
So let's see. Podcast Random Thoughts guy texted in. PRTG here. I feel like tightrope in the sideline is a vastly underrated skill. The view of Isaac going down the sideline is incredibly impressive. I can feel my ankle snapping watching it.
Yeah, the fact that he's got a guy right behind him that could very easily shoestring tackle him, like he could have touched his backside if he'd had a slightly better tackling form. I really thought that Brown could get caught from behind, but that was a fantastic job by Isaac Brown of just making sure to not only outrun the guy that's in clear chase down with him, but be able to expect what he's trying to do and have the timing to do it. Like that was impressive. I will say that.
Yeah, and one of the coolest shots of that play was, And I was a bit skeptical when they were first building it. The field boxes for the luxury experience, like
that on-field experience.
I didn't know if we were going to have enough fans that really invested in that to really maximize utilizing the field boxes and to occupy. I thought it was going to be more space when the idea was proposed. It ended up not being that huge, so ended up working out. But man, you want to talk about one of the coolest videos from the weekend. That video, I assume it was either their mom or their dad taking the video of Isaac running that touchdown and then hopping in the box with like those 3 or 4 kids, just basically baptizing them in the waters of Louisville fandom. And it's like, guess what? You're stuck now. You're going to have that moment with you for the rest of your life.
Congratulations. Core memory has been established.
So, in retrospect, good job on the field boxes. Also, something I forgot to mention after the last game, because they didn't put any like sort of promo out about it. Are they still doing the Yetis? They sent the email out for the first game, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're doing these promotions."
They ran out in like 20 minutes.
It was less than like the first game. It was immediately. Now, I don't have the exact number, so again, speculation alarm. My understanding was that there was only like 25 per booth. It's only like 300 that they made available for the first game. I don't know if that's just the count they're going with every game. If so, like, hey, get people in the door early and get you buying our concessions rather than hanging out in the parking lot or going to the alley. But, man, it's get out of your own way, man. That's something cool that I'd be willing to buy. Get enough to where people can buy them.
Supply and demand, man.
I get it, but if there's a demand, you can get more supply. Like, look.
Yeah, well, maybe they didn't know how much demands there would be.
That's fair, but I think you can make an adjustment after the first game and realize, okay, maybe we should stock up a bit more.
I think they should have known that these needed to be more popular. I mean, Louisville football games are, I'd arguably say, one of the biggest drinking parties in the state. Like, we should have known this.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
especially because, like, part of the promo was, like, yeah, you get the cup free with any drink order. So you could have ordered, like, a double bourbon and Coke.
Well, I'm not going to say get the cup free. It was $60 and you get whatever drink you want in it. So you could go soda or you could go double bourbon and Coke, which stadium prices, okay, that's like, what, $20, $25, I assume, if you're getting a double mixed drink. So it's like, okay, you got a $45 Heisman Louis Yeti. That's pretty sharp. That's not a bad, like, that's a way to make the consumer feel good. More opportunities for the consumer to feel good would be nice. But I digress. Let's get one more text on the text line. Let's see.
It should be the Saving Grace one.
All right.
Grace, she died 30 years ago.
Oh, well, they got a couple of texts in. Okay, yeah. The saving grace may be if the Brewers clinch the 1 seed and play the bottom of the roster that last series, root for the Brewers to clinch home field advantage and play their bottom of their 40-man that weekend to end the season, give the Reds as best a chance as possible. It's at this point where I know I wouldn't be great in professional sports because I would 100%, if you win this series, you make it in the playoffs. No, we're rolling with our top.
Yeah, because you could see a division opponent wanting to screw over someone else in their division so that they do get out. So.
Yeah, 100% would be the type of guy to cut off my nose and spite my face, 100%. But it would not be smart of the Brewers to do so.
Like Matt said, I don't think it would matter anyway because it's the Brewers versus the Reds, and they could put out us 3 out there in the infield, and the Reds would still find a way to lose that game.
Now, I'm not going to go that far. I've
witnessed a handful of beatdowns by the hands of the Brewers over the last several years.
And I was at the game last year where Ellie De La Cruz stole home. Some magic can happen for the Reds up there.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't been to a Reds game in like 2 years. I need to go back.
Yeah, I can't imagine why you would be put off from going to Reds games after all we've talked about. I mean,
where are you going to go?
Oh, my God. I don't like how we both had that in the chamber ready to go.
Gosh. The last time I got to watch Ellie, it was when he was still in Louisville. It was like maybe a few days before he got called up. And, of course, I knew that it was probably going to be sooner rather than later, so I wanted to watch him. So we had tickets behind home plate, and this was the game that Ellie struck out 5 times.
Oh, funny enough, I think I went the day after that.
And then he went crazy.
Like leaped like 3.5 feet in the air to snag a ball, a line drive at shortstop, hit 2 home runs, hit a double, stole a third. Yep. So you got the bad side. I got the great side.
You're welcome, Keith.
That's the duality of Ellie.
Yeah. Thank you for your sacrifice.
Goodness.
Also, why are you guys hating on number 44s who lead the league in strikeouts? How quickly do we forget about the big donkey, El Burro, Adam Dunn? Come on, I will not tolerate strikeout 44 slander on this program while I have a microphone.
Yeah, well, it seems like they go hand in hand now, don't they?
I mean, that's a baseball now. But to shift things back to football a little bit, one thing that was touched on a little bit yesterday, and I think I have a theory as to why this may be the case. Louisville kickoff against Clemson got moved up from 8 p.m. to 7:30. And one of the things that I hadn't heard many people talking about was maybe this is people starting to complain and gripe about stagger scheduling actually starting to work a little bit, because we heard the complaints from the TV broadcast of the EKU game that they cut off the end of it to move into the next game because the game was in hand. Don't forget that it's actually a double dose of ACC football that Friday night. North Carolina is playing at Cal that night as well. I believe that's set to kick off at 10 o'clock. I don't have the media schedule up in front of me right off the bat.
North Carolina plays Wake Forest on Saturday that weekend. That's the only ACC game on that weekend.
No, there's a Friday night game, the Louisville-Clemson game.
That's November 14th, right?
Yeah. That's the only ACC game on that weekend.
I'm pretty sure that there's another
I'm
Friday
looking at the
night.
schedule right now.
Yeah. My understanding was that there was a game in California after that. If that's wrong, I'm about to be devastated. So
the only other game that night is Minnesota at Oregon, and it's at 9.
Well, that wouldn't make sense to compete. So
when I type in like the schedule and I say November 14th, why does it still pull up 2024? Like, why are we doing this? ESPN, can we please update our stuff?
Did I just accidentally crap completely over your theory?
Potentially, but
oops.
No, it's fine. Matt's filibuster for me for a second. I'm going to look this up just because I'm pretty sure the actual ACC media release put that out, but
I'm sure they
on
did.
Friday, November 14th, Clemson plays at Louisville and Minnesota plays at Oregon at 9 p.m. Those are the only 2 games on Friday.
And it's on 2 completely different stations too. Louisville,
yeah, no,
Louisville, ESPN,
I get that.
And then Minnesota, Oregon's on.
Is
Fox.
it the Miami game that we have the UNC and Cal game after that?
I think that might be what you're thinking of. No, the Miami game is like midway through the season. It's on. I think it's like week 7. I'm looking it up right now, trying to cycle through ESPN.
Oh man, this is great. This is bi-week radio.
This
Yeah,
is
kidding.
the way that ESPN has this laid out is not
you're
pleasing to
you're
the
thinking
eye.
of Miami because Louisville at Miami is 7. North Carolina at Cal is at 10:30.
Okay, so that's what it was. Okay, got the primetime games mixed up. Then I've got no idea why we're bumping to 7:30.
Hey, I appreciate it.
October, maybe they have a West Coast NBA or November, maybe they got a West Coast NBA game they're trying to get fitted in or something. Whatever. I take those days off work regardless, so I'll be in the lot at 2, 3 o'clock whenever they open it. But
yeah, what other games would be on that night? Doesn't mean the NFL's not playing on a Friday night in the middle of November. They don't do that until like the final week of the regular season.
Well, no. So I assume it's probably to make NBA programming or something along those lines because fingers crossed we're not on ESPN The Deuce and we can actually get on the Big Boy Network for that one. But I don't know, man. After the way Clemson's looked and after the way we've looked to start the season, that could go from a Titanic struggle down to a pillow fight. I don't assume that's the case, but I'd be lying if there was a little lingering fear that wasn't there. So
Warriors play the Spurs at 9:30 that day.
There you go. We got to get Wemby and Curry. All right, so hopping back over to the Game Day Men's Health text line. Again, if you want to hop in and get your thoughts heard, 502-414-1450. Oh, we got an update. All right. Dolphins fan here again. I still haven't decided what to do. Still leaning to abandoning this team. Greer has failed forward his entire career, and our owner is I don't think I can say that word on the radio. McDaniels is a weirdo. I showed my son logos last night. He expressed interest in lion letter B, and I had mixed feelings and wanted your guys' thoughts. Local team, bad organization, but have some stars. Doesn't feel that much better than the Dolphins, but at least I can escape Josh Allen and the Pats / I assume he means Jets, but autocorrect got him to hate this.
Hate this.
Man,
yeah, I mean,
look, I wouldn't blame you. You know what? Dolphins fan here. I can speak to you on this. There is some credence to what Mike was saying yesterday about the bad times making the good times better. But I'm right there with you. I don't think the Dolphins are going to succeed as a team until Steve Ross either sells the team or is 6 feet under, because he's addicted to undermining his coach every chance he gets. Like, it seems like every offseason we never commit to fully rebuilding. It's always going after some sort of has-been star who's washed up, who doesn't have his prime anymore. And I mean, that goes back to guys like Damon Heward, Chad Pennington, Dante Culpepper, and Ndamukong Suh, Vonnie Holiday. Like, the list goes on and on of stars who are past their prime that the Dolphins continue to try to sign, and it never works. And that's why the Dolphins have just been perpetually mid the last 25 years. I think they've had 3 or 4 seasons where they weren't within a game or two of 500.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that contract extension they gave to last summer.
Which I will say, I was one of the few people. Like, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I think it was Jon Snow pulling out his sword as the Horde rides upon him.
Yeah.
Talking about,
Yep.
Don't give Tua the extension. He's not good enough. He doesn't deserve it. And all I heard back was, this is what all the quarterbacks are getting paid now. And I'm like, yeah, and they're all bad contracts because they're not good players.
Yeah, they're overpaid so that you make sure you have your quarterback in place.
And they all told me I was stupid and I was crazy for saying drop Tua and use Tannehill as a Band-Aid quarterback for a year while you tank.
It's like the opposite of your thoughts on Cade Klubnik.
Man, like,
I was right. I was wrong. You were right.
Hey, I still think Klubnik's a good quarterback, but that offensive line is bad.
Which is surprising because Clemson's got talent aplenty. How can they have like an offensive line that's not even close to being passable by their standards?
They got soft hands. They ain't worked a day in their life. You know who does work? Cutter Bowley. Riddler here. I'm from LaRue County. Cutter's daddy is my dentist. LaRue County football went 0-12 after Cutter's abandoned us to go to Lexington Catholic. I feel like Cutter's an ally of Mike's in the feud against LaRue County.
I was going to say, does Mike still have the feud with LaRue County? Is that still ongoing?
You know he does. Unfortunately, at least to my knowledge, it does. He wasn't able to retweet their football score the first week of the year because I think LaRue County got a dub. I didn't see anything second week, so maybe LaRue County's back. I don't know, but who would have thought LaRue County, Riddler guy, loved that for us. So
that's so hysterical how he managed to get a rivalry with LaRue County Athletics.
Well, I think it was just because the athletic director had randomly blocked him on
He's
Twitter.
a UK fan, yeah. I remember
which
him
is
telling
just
that
hilarious. So let's get one more text here before we head out to the break. All right, so somebody hasn't texted in since late August. Matt, I'm telling Innis you're cheating on him. So
go ahead, tell him.
I wanted to get caught. Oh man. You know, now producer Matt, you're the one with the best X stories. You ever have to run into a situation like that? Or have to tell someone that you caught someone cheating on them?
I have not, actually. I wish there was one I could think of, but I have not had that situation.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad you haven't been cheated upon, so...
I didn't say that.
Oh no!
I had to let somebody else know they were being cheated on.
Oh, man. Time to drag Matt through the mud.
Well...
All right, we're done with the Mike in the Mud segments. Now it's Matt in the Mud for the Rutherford Show.
Way to go, Keith.
Oh, yeah. Love this for us. This is what happens on bye weeks. You know what? Next segment, we're just going to start to begin turning our ire towards Bowling Green, I think. I think that's the plan. There is a very prominent target on the Bowling Green sideline who deserves a lot of Louisville fan frustration and ire and targeted attacks. And I'm not talking about Eddie George. We'll talk more about that after the break. That's what we call a tease in the biz. Now, but we might start to dip our toe into the Bowling Green waters for the upcoming preview. And then we'll see what else is on board for us. Again, if you want to help us out for Bye-Week Radio, hop on into the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. And, wow, that outro, I still got a couple minutes to fill. Matt, do some tricks.
Well, that's perfect because we literally got another text right there.
It says, perfect. Oh, hey, okay.
It says, "Hey, Dolphins fan, come join the Bengals fandom, man. Right up the street. Organization has seriously invested more recently than they have in my lifetime in many different ways. Game day atmosphere is electric too."
Yes, because the Bengals haven't been plagued with sadness over the course.
I was going to say, I almost cut the text off after it said fandom, man, because I didn't want to subject that to somebody randomly.
They won playoffs. They've won a playoff game. And also, they're not a team with prominent success. You're not jumping on a bandwagon. If you want to be like someone unique and special, you don't want to just follow the Ravens for Lamar. You have people you can playfully banter with, plenty of them in the city. You're not going to be a bandwagon. I assume AFC East teams are just off the table for Dolphins fan because I'd rather just not watch football than cheer for the Bills, Jets, or Pats. Which
especially the Pats.
Yeah, I learned that about you. But we'll talk more about this after the break. Stay tuned in. presented by United Mechanical and Nexus Plus, Louisville's newest construction management company. Keith Artoff, Matt McGavick, and producer Matt Childress here. Joining you now for the 4 o'clock hour of the show. And before the break, we had talked a little bit about drawing our ire towards someone on the sidelines at Bowling Green. And I'm not talking about Eddie George. Now, I don't know how invested you all are. Matt, I know the way you're chuckling, you've definitely seen it. But
I have heard of it.
Producer Matt, do you have any inkling of who I might be referring to?
I have no idea.
Okay, so
I'm ready to learn, though.
All right, so you can either Twitter or Instagram or whatever you need to do. I need you to look up Pudge the Cat. It is a orange, like if you made a pug into a feline, that's what this cat looks like. Just orange cat, derpy face.
Oh,
that
this is the Bowling Green cat, right? Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Looks kind of like Wilford Brimley.
Oh no,
it does.
So it's the locker room morale cat that they were bringing in to boost spirits, enthusiasm, and it couldn't even get him a win over Scott Satterfield. But hey, Scott Satterfield, big on those rivalry games. He was able to take down the Bowling Green Falcons.
Is that a rivalry?
No,
that's
the joke.
Okay. I was going to say that's why he won. It wasn't a rivalry.
But there were a couple of names that stuck out as I really started to do the very beginning of my prep for the Bowling Green Falcons. So I didn't tell Matt McGavick either. So I'm going to play a game. If you all have had a chance, y'all haven't had any chance to sort of prepare on Bowling Green yet. You're not super familiar with the roster or anything like that. McGavick, nope. Producer Matt?
I haven't dived into pregame stuff for Bowling Green. I won't until next week. I've been kind of just taking it easy for the bye week.
All right. And Producer Matt, nothing on your side?
Nothing, no idea.
Can you guess who the Bowling Green State Falcons starting quarterback is if I give you a hint that we talked about one of his previous programs earlier in the show?
Isn't it Drew Pine?
It is Drew Pine. You got that a lot faster than I was expecting.
Well, I did a little bit during the summer, so I was like thinking, I remember typing Drew Pine at some point. Like, is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there. That's one of those he's still in the league moments for us.
Didn't Bowling Green have another one of those he's still in the league type quarterbacks last season?
Yeah, it was like a Texas A&M washout who they had last year.
Okay.
But yeah, I saw the but no, I pull up their roster and I saw Drew Pine on their passing stats, and I'm like, ain't no way Drew Pine is still in the league. So, Drew Pine, and his first stop was in 2020. Played at Notre Dame when they were in the ACC. Had 4 games played there, played 2 games at Notre Dame in 2021, played 11 games at Notre Dame in 2022. Matts, without looking up, can you guess where he went after Notre Dame?
I already know it's Arizona State, Miami.
Don't give him the answer. Let producer Matt play the game.
Wrong Matt. I'm sorry.
I'm going to take a really tough one here and say it's either going to be Arizona State or Miami.
Okay, so Arizona State was the first stop. Where was his second stop?
No idea.
Oh, wait. No, yep.
All right, McGavick seems to have it. What about you, producer Matt? You got anything?
I have no idea. I will be honest. My Drew Pine ball knowledge is low.
He played for the Missouri Fighting Eli Drinkowitzes.
I thought of a different MI team. That's what tripped me up.
And now has found his way to the Bowling Green Falcons under coach Eddie George. Also, another interesting one. Didn't have the chance to finish researching it over the break, but did you like how we played against the first Petaway we faced this season?
I mean, the defense did very, very, very well in terms of like bottling up the run and making sure that dynamic rushing attack from Jamie, like, they held them up pretty well. So,
well, I hope you're ready to smoke a whole carton of Petaways. Bowling Green's leading rusher in terms of carries and attempts, Cameron Petaway, a freshman. I was trying to look up during the break to see if there was actually any relation to the James Madison Petaway, because he played at North Carolina. So
that would have been hysterical.
The genetics of the if we got back-to-back Petaways in back-to-back weeks, that's a fun story. So Producer Matt, I'm gonna get you on the case while we dive back into the Game Day Men's Health text line.
Actually wanted to bring something up really quick. I had one of these moments like with Drew Pine where I was like, is this guy still playing, when I learned that Cade McNamara is still playing college football.
Ooh, that's a good one.
He is? Where?
He's playing at Eastern Tennessee.
Pirates, right? ETSU?
I think
Blue
so.
Raiders. Wait, no, East Tennessee. No,
Yeah, that's Mid Tennessee.
It's Mid Tennessee.
Don't you dare besmirch the
No, I think they're the
Murfreesboro boys.
Buccaneers.
That's it. Yep. I knew it was something pirate related.
Arr.
Ahoy, me mateys. If you've got some good He's Still in the League college football players you want to throw into the Game Day Men Health text line, feel free to do so. 502-414-1450. Let's dive back in. Let's see. Good evening, gentlemen. Papa J here. Sorry I've been absent for a couple of weeks. I had emergency surgery and have been out of commission.
Oh, hope you're doing better.
Roman, congratulations on a successful surgery. Please now listen to Daddy Mike and take care of yourself. Matt, hang in there. You're good and very knowledgeable. And I'm going to interrupt the text for a little bit. Matt, the music game going in and out of breaks has been on point. Like, that's one of the biggest coachable things I have for Roman. It seems like he just preset set list. You take the conversations and you roll with them, take them into the break, make it very funny. Big fan, doing a great job back there, producing the hell out of the show.
I appreciate it.
So, to continue Papa J's text, I still believe in 10-2 and making the playoffs. Now, the main reasons for my thoughts today. Mike, I want to say thank you for keeping us steady as fans and taking care of your teammates, the Young Guns, and always supporting and praising them. Hopefully, when they become the next kings of Louisville sports, they will remember you and use your example. I'll be out a couple more weeks as we will be in Paris and Rome for 12 days starting next Wednesday. I'll still listen every day on the podcast. As always, have a great rest of your show. Papa J. Well, thank you, Papa J. I really hope Mike tuned into at least the podcast, if not listening live for that, because that's like really heartfelt, sentimental. Like that's awesome to hear. Like, I hate that I'm the step host stepping in and having to read that.
You're not the step host. You're the host that stepped up.
Oh man, I knew this was coming. Oh no. Wait, Keith, any comment on Duke nearly having his head ripped off at the end of the JMU game? I did not see this. This was from Scoots Hater. I did not see that, but that's hilarious. I thought he was going to talk about Duke getting their head ripped off by Illinois, because I was one of the ones that's like, yeah, Duke might be pretty good this year. But no, I didn't see. Hold on.
No, I didn't see
JMU mascot. I'm going to have to look this up.
Like now. Duke Watson? The Duke mascot.
Oh, it could have been Duke Watson. Yeah, no, I saw it live, and I joked that I didn't know we had Emily Rose as our running back because it was an exorcism of a face mask. It looked like a full-blown one. And the broadcast, that's the thing that frustrated me the most about the broadcast, is that like they didn't even bother trying to replay or look at it. They were just ho-hum businessy, and it's like, I especially with crazy. I'm not crazy. I know what I saw, right?
Yeah. Like, especially with the Miller Moss fumble, because of course a lot of fans on Twitter I saw, they're like, he's clearly down. No, he wasn't. I saw it live. It was very close. It was very close, I will say. But like the ball came out. But that's one of those things where you wish that you had replay. But based on what I saw live, like, yeah, it was a fumble. But it would have been nice to see how close it was on replay, because it was very close.
Yeah, so I'm looking, and I'm not seeing any sort of videos of the JMU. So I assume Scoots Hater's talking about Duke Watson getting his just a vicious face mask, which it almost reminded me of, this is going back a couple years, Jackson Dart got a very similar face mask a couple of years ago. Where it was like almost a full around 180.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, outrageous that there was no sort of look. We know what we're doing with that broadcast crew. Like, we've listened to Where on the Ones and Twos before. We knew what you were getting into watching the broadcast. I'm thankful that I have home game tickets live, so I don't have to deal with that. But rewatching the game, you get to listen to it. But man, it was just absurd. There was no mention of it. There was no replay. There was no sort of drawn out. You just get like the one little clip during the play, and that's it. And the only reason I could see that is because I DVR all the games because I'm a sicko. So, yeah, absurd to me that there was no sort of review or slight outrage because, Ware was all over it when we just barely glanced James Madison's quarterback's face mask on the pass rush.
Oh,
where
of course he was all over that.
His helmet like slightly nudged, and it's like, they missed a face mask. Oh, this is the most abhorrent thing to happen in 12 millennia. Not a thing when Duke got his. Look,
and all of that, and JMU still was flagged for 12 penalties.
Oh, it was what? Yeah, it was one of those games where I think it was summed up great. Like, you can't call everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's as a former offensive lineman, I think you could probably agree with me in this one. But holding occurs on every play. It's just like, how egregious is it?
Well, not just that, but like the disconcerting signals, they made an effort to call that a couple times, didn't call it every time. The holding by the defensive backs on our wide receiver court, I think they called it maybe like twice early in the game and then just swallowed the whistle entirely.
Yeah. So it was an interesting time to just let them play.
It was a frustrating outing for sure, but you know what? A win's a win's a win. I'll give Mike the opportunity to officially close the book on James Madison on Friday, but
I will say
I've got my eyes on Bowling Green and Pudge.
I will say, like, as a part of a closing thought on that game, it was nice to see the defense even going late into the game with how inept the well, I don't want to say inept. This is probably a little too strong a word. With how disjointed the offense was for a majority of the night. That just meant the defense kept having to go back out there. And by the end of the night, Louisville themselves ran 53 plays. James Madison ran 78. Yeah. So that's 25 more offensive plays on behalf of that go towards JMU. So the defense is having to spend a lot more time out there. And to the defense's credit, there were only a couple drives where like there were some notable mistakes, and they held their own for the most part.
Okay, now actually, this sort of brings up a topic that I did want to talk about. So the defense, we can all agree, at least statistically, put on a very strong performance against James Madison. Matt, am I being fair in saying that?
Yes.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Okay. So there have been people talking about like the interaction between Jeff Brom and Ron English later in the game, and English pointing at the scoreboard, "Don't blame me. We've held him to 14 points." And maybe it's just me being someone who's been burned and scorned and hard to trust again, almost as if I had been cheated on. But sorry, Matt. But I don't necessarily think that game was so much a Ron English masterclass, so much as it was
a Jeff Brom disaster class.
Conga and Girard almost single-handedly turning that offense one-dimensional and just making things easy.
That's true.
Because obviously the big statistical performers are going to be Clev Lubin, Wes Bailey getting the sacks, the big turnover, the touchdown. Like, those are going to be the flashy plays. But James Madison, watching them, all they wanted to do was run the ball between the tackles. And they had almost no success during the entirety of the game. I said on the podcast, they went from no success to a little success, like whenever we were rotating in Lawson and Lowry and not having our two stud D tackles on the field. But whenever Conga and Girard were on the field, unless we had some sort of stunt called that just so happened to open up a running lane for them, they could not move the ball. They had a brief series where they were getting the ball outside the tackles, and that was helping them move the ball up the field slightly. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they went away from that, which that's another thing, James Madison fans, if you're still hate listening to us, that's another thing you might want to ask your coach about. Like, you were having success on the outsides of the field, moving the ball with like some dink and dunk sort of plays to get outside and be athletes, but they couldn't move it between the tackles consistently.
Yeah, no, Girard and Conga, they did a fantastic job of just plugging up the holes and being gap sound, being physical. I mean, the defensive line looks completely different than Louisville's offensive line in terms of like being aggressive at the point of the attack, generating push. I mean, yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I thought the defensive line was going to be at least good this season. Like, maybe not like super, super good, but like it probably be close to as good as it was last year, at least when you like look at the sum of the pieces last year. But I mean, again, it's EKU, it's James Madison, so take into account competition. But I mean, the defensive line looks really good to start the year. Like they've got a bunch of speed. They've got everyone on that line's plays with a physical edge to them. Like this is going to be a great first step in terms of Louisville's defense playing more complementary football, because if the defensive line keeps the offense off schedule, doesn't get the quarterback as much time to throw, that means the defensive backs and the linebackers don't have to cover as much, and, all those dominoes fall.
Yeah. So I talk about the dominance of Girard and Conga to say this. Maybe it's just me. I didn't see anything schematically that we did for English to be boasting this dominance performance. Like, that was just, we have high-end talent and we leveraged it. Much like, maybe not this year so much, but like last year, Miami would just bully teams on the line of scrimmage, and that would bail Mario Cristobal out of situations. Yeah. And we are not out here talking about, it's a Mario Cristobal masterclass. It's, oh my God, those players are so good.
I think, like, when you watch that moment again between English and Braum, who are getting into it, and let's just be honest, it's not going to be like, is there a triple in the rock? It's football. Oh, guys, yeah. It's in the heat of the moment. Like, there's nothing going on there. It's not like there's, like, something going on. Like, if that happens a lot more regularly than you guys think it does. I think what English is trying to get across is that, like, hey, my guys are executing. And I do agree with you. I don't think it was like a super complex scheme. I think it just boiled down to, we had a game plan, and the defensive guys executed it, like, nearly perfectly.
Yeah, so all of that roundabout, and yeah, not so much on the little spat at the end of the game, but I'm not one who is so quick to wash away the sins of Ron English just because we had a good game against James Madison, because I feel like that was more individual dominance than scheme. And also, it doesn't help the fact that all the little nonsense was still there. 10 men on the field, multiple times having to burn timeouts, guys not in their stance. They got faked out with the okey doke, look at the sideline like you're getting a play call, and then quick snap the ball while the defense is just sitting there looking. We're lucky that it was just for a 15-yard gain on that, but they also had opportunities where we just blew assignments and left guys wide open in the secondary. Thankfully, they don't have an individual on that team who can complete a forward pass at the moment. So I find myself, while statistically it may look great, I wasn't impressed with the defense outside of the front 6 or 7 guys.
And even some guys in the linebacker room, I don't want to bag on TJ Quinn too much, because he's fantastic against the run. He really is. He's a playmaker. But, I mean, while Stanquan Clark is going to be on the mend, he's going to have to take a step forward in terms of pass coverage.
Yeah,
he has to.
Yeah, it's going to be curious to see, because I feel like the Louisville program could be drastically shaped by not just his performance, but TJ Capers coming on in relief, because I know Mike had touched about it yesterday in this new era of college football where you're allocating budget around and trying to fit rosters underneath a certain pay threshold. Like, we're not one of the print money programs that can just have a booster come and pay to give a couple advertisements to a kid they like. If Capers comes in and balls out, this might be the last time we've seen Stanquan as a card, just because it's perfectly understandable for him to come in and say, hey, I started for 2.5 seasons. I got injured. I'm still Stanquan. And on the other side of the staff, hey, you're coming off an injury. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. So I hope it doesn't come to that. But that's just the unfortunate realities of college football. Now, if TJ Capers comes in, struggles, TJ Quinn struggles, then Stanquan has a little bit more leverage to work with, and maybe he gets that price in negotiation, and maybe we see someone else walk. But that was just one of the things that sort of crossed my mind before we really dove into, or before, like, when that happened. It's like, okay, hope he's okay, hope he can come back. Hope that's not his last game as a card. But yeah, so to get back to the main point, though, producer Matt, am I being too hard on Ron by not giving him enough credit for the defensive performance?
I don't think so. I mean, I thought it was a better defensive performance than maybe you're laying it to be, but you're not too hard, because some of the mistakes that were laid in that game were horrendous mistakes. Like, I mean, you in no way against any Power 4 opponent on a 3rd and 10 can you have 10 men on the field and then let that play go and then give up one of their only touchdowns of the game. Like, that's just unacceptable, especially to a team that throughout the game, we realized, like you said, cannot throw the ball downfield. Now, it was a miraculous catch that was made by one hand while he's running out of bounds. So, like, kudos to him. He made it happen. But,
they're better than us, so
they're so much better.
Catch you expect to make.
Yeah, and while we are like I don't want to say nitpicking, but like criticizing the defense for maybe still having a few mistakes. I mean, going into, I don't think they're going to struggle against Bowling Green, but they've got to look. The offensive side of the ball has to look more crisp. They have to, especially against a team like Bowling Green that's probably in the bottom 25 in all of the FBS right now. And I think Eddie George will eventually get that program together because he's a very good coach at Tennessee State. He took them to the FCS playoffs, but like considering when he took over that Falcons program in right before spring ball started, that team's definitely not going to be. They were kind of operating behind the 8 ball, but the offense has to look much more cohesive, much more together. Because let me ask you this: if I were to ask you what you thought the offensive success rate in this game was for Louisville, what would it be? And for the listeners at home, when I mean success rate, if you grade each play on a down-to-down basis by simply did it succeed or did it not? Like if it's 1st and 10, if they get at least half the yardage. If on second down, if they get at least 70% of the yardage. On 3rd and 4th down, did they pick up the first down? If they did, then it's graded a success. If they didn't, it's graded as not a success.
Yeah,
what do you think Louisville's offensive success rate was in this game?
Well, if we ran 53 plays.
Yeah. For context, above 50% is average, below 40% is below average.
Honestly, I'd probably put us down at 15 to 20% because a lot of our big plays were explosives.
The success rate was 17%.
Wow.
Nailed it. Man, I'm good at stats.
I wanted to give you guys a quick update, not to derail just a little bit, but I went and did the Bowling Green deep dive on the Padaway.
Oh, yeah, Padaway?
They're not brothers, but
okay.
I did find something else out.
Oh?
In 2017, there is a famous brother on that 2017 Bowling Green team.
Okay.
His name, he goes by the name of, he's a fullback of Leonard Scatabo.
Really?
Cam Scadabo's brother was the fullback for Bowling Green in 2017.
Okay.
Wow.
There we go. His brother got all the athletic genes, I guess.
Like I said, kind of derailed, but I found it, and I was like, I didn't just look this up not to say it. So
that's one of those.
That's a fun stat.
Yeah, that's one of those bar trivia type questions. Like, hey, Cam Scadabo's brother played at what MAC school?
Maction. All right. So don't have a lot of time here for the next break, but there is a bit of a developing story that thankfully doesn't involve Louisville. The NCAA investigating sports betting and game manipulation by players at Arizona State, Eastern Michigan, Temple, New Orleans, North Carolina A&T, and Mississippi Valley. Reported earlier, Department of Justice is investigating links between college basketball gambling and the Jonte Porter scheme. Jeez. So, you know what? This is one of those situations that I find myself saying, whew, not us.
Yeah, for once, we're not in the NCAA's crosshairs.
Honestly, I would not be shocked to see one of these come out between the 2 years before the Pat Kelsey era, just because, it would honestly make me feel better about it. Like, oh, okay, we weren't actually inept. They were just throwing games.
Honestly, that would make sense. It would make a lot of sense.
It made me feel a little better, man.
Because that was one of those years where, it was so bad that if you accuse Kenny Payne of being a UK plant, while it might not be true, it's not something that, you can immediately dismiss because then you're so bad.
It was. I like the one of the first comments on the story. The NCAA investigating before Pablo finds out. Which Pablo Torre, man, guy has been on a tear.
He's on a generational heater.
My
goodness.
Producer Matt, have you seen any of the coverage of him talking about the Clippers potentially circumventing the salary cap and feeding money through a no-show job at a corporation?
The tree planting business.
Yeah, so you've been on top of that. There were some more developments that came out today. I haven't had a chance to listen to the full pod, but it sounds like Pablo's decided to turn up the thermostat a bit.
Ooh. At this point, if I was in the NBA, whether I'm a coach or a player, and I saw that Pablo Torre was calling me, I'm immediately declining that phone call. I'm not getting interviewed.
He's going to find out. That's what he does.
It's like I didn't even do anything. I just don't even want to know what he has to say.
Like I'm so excited that someone who likes to dive into more of the silly stuff, I feel like, is how he came up during a lot of his early journalism at ESPN. Like, he did a lot of stuff with Levitard, and Levitard runs a very silly program there. He's becoming one of the more, at least like in the sports realm, one of the most prominent journalists of our generation. Like, this dude is uncovering some whales of stories.
Yeah, I mean, on the investigative journalism standpoint, I mean, I'm early in Pablo Torre's journalism career. Like, that's probably not something that I associated him with. And in his post ESPN ventures, that's been his defining, characteristic as a professional. Just because, like, now he's kind of developed this reputation as someone who, as his podcast alludes to, finds out.
Well, you know what else we're going to find out? What else you all have to say on the Game Day Men's Health text line coming up after the break. We're going to get to some more of your thoughts, dive into some more of just the general ongoings of the sports community here as we got bye-week radio coming to you. So Stay tuned in on the Big X, and you'll hear back from us soon. Here on Big X Sports Radio. Keith Artoff, Matt McGavick, producer Matt Childress in the studio with you today. And We're going to kick things off in this last hour of the show, 4:30 segment. We're going to start things off on the Game Day Men's Health text line. If you want to hop in before the end of the show, 502-414-1450. Get in here, have your voice heard. And we're going to start Text Groove. Come on, Text Groove. There we go.
It just hates you today.
Oh, this is one. And texted in since the middle of August. So first time in a month. Was it me or did the announcers call Chris Bell sneaky fast? I guess 22 miles an hour is sneaky.
I don't know how sneaky that is. That's PDQ right there.
I didn't think that was going to be reserved for players of Chris Bell's aptitude. I didn't think his athleticism was. I thought his athleticism was anything but sneaky.
Yeah, I mean, this was someone who Dane Brugler in the preseason was lauding for both his rare combination of size and speed.
Look, if he's listed as sneaky, I'm happy about it because maybe that shows up on the scouting report. When other teams are looking in, they're like, hey, man, who's that Chris Bell guy? I don't know. I heard he's sneaky fast.
He's a real locker room guy. Gritty player.
Real vibes guy out there.
He's a real locker room leader. Oh, man. Text Groove, come on. Oh, don't do it. It's always the last hour of the show.
It always is, man.
Yep.
Always.
Okay. One thing the broadcast mentioned before was ESPN showing the ACC Command Center on TV and the officials bringing up that they were on the broadcast. I think it was worse than it appeared because they were showing themselves inside the replay center on TV instead of the replay angles that they normally show on broadcast. And they were bringing up they're on TV because they couldn't check the replay shown on ESPN normally. And we're just seeing them, and we're just seeing themselves on the screen. As hilarious as that would be, I believe it's on the background in the command center. They have that wall of I think it's 16 different angles that they constantly have going. It'll occasionally show up on the big screen in stadium. Okay, you'll see it flash to the screen where it's the two full rows and two or three angles on the bottom row. But I choose to believe that it's this and that the command center couldn't actually watch the replay because they were just we're on the TV. I can't see the play. We're on
that was driving me so nuts.
I know. So I will say it is nice that for this year they started doing that just to have some sort of transparency because I mean after last year when it seemed that the ACC Command Center was doing everything in their power to benefit Miami. This is something that the ACC kind of had to do just to show people, hey, we're not really favoring each team. This is what goes on behind the scenes. And I in a vacuum, I do kind of like that part of the broadcast, just seeing what the going through their process of what they're actually seeing in the play and how they determine it, blah blah blah. But it's also nice to know that, hey, okay, who's this play benefit? Miami? Okay, it stands as called. It's nice to have that sort of behind the scenes transparency.
Oh, you like that? You like that peek into the replay booth? Thank the XFL again for that innovation as well. They were the first ones to really incorporate that because they had not Mike Pereira, or it might have been Mike Pereira, one of those nerds who always agrees with the refs on the field, and you want to shove him in the locker.
Yeah.
They had Mike Pereira as their replay official, and they would just have a camera on him while he reviewed the play, and he would talk through the process. I don't see this here, so we're just gonna have to leave it as is, or would explain, okay, no, he's down right here, put it here, no, put it there, set the game clock to this time, and it was cool because you actually got to see the transparency behind the review process. I like it more. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of fine-tuning. I didn't watch that portion of the Game Day broadcast when I'm rewatching the game. I'm just, me and that plus 10-second buddy are best friends between plays. So, was it really that, were they just constantly, you're on TV, make sure you don't say anything
that was definitely something they kept saying, just to reiterate to guys, hey, remember, you're on TV. Don't say anything dumb don't say anything self-incriminating.
I was about to say, what type of problematic stuff are they saying off TV where they got to warn them that often?
I mean, we saw what Brenneman did.
Oh, man. Hey, he's on the CW now. All right, Scoots Hater back in. Text Groove. Come on. All right, well, it starts. I want a full breakdown of the volleyball match from Matt, set by set, And now Tex Groove's just got the perpetual loading wheel. So if that's the end of the text,
that was the end of the text.
Okay, perfect. So, Matt, I will. I'll walk through the volleyball match recap with you, but we can go through this set by set.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm going to disappoint you a little bit. I was not at home for the first set, so don't got a lot on that.
We missed the best one. We came out. I believe we jumped out to a really hot start in the first set. I think it was like a 6-0 or like 6-2 start to start the set. Came out, ran away early, clinched the first set, ho-hum, Bob's your uncle, got it done. All right, now set 2, Matt. Maybe we just need to stop having you watch because you started watching, and that's when things went bad.
I see. I did. I tuned in while we were down big in set 2, and I know they finished 16-25. I only saw like the little bit towards the end, but it was competitive. They were fighting back. You know, like I saw the score. I was like, oh god, this is kind of ugly. So I went and looked at the first set. I was like, oh, we pulled it out. That's good. So then I watched a little bit more. It was like I said, they were fighting back. Like I said, I got the butt in the second set. Didn't really get a lot of it. It was like the 3rd to 5th set is when I really sat down and locked in. But I was impressed with what I saw when they were down in that second set with all the fight they gave. Like it seemed like even though they were down, they kind of had Texas in a pressure situation where, kind of like in the 5th set, like they just weren't really going away. Like it wasn't like really close.
Now, I want to interrupt you slightly because you said something. And if Mike's going to do a hardline stance that we can't make any sort of comparisons to a certain coach, you're not allowed to talk about how players played with fight in a set that they lost.
Oh, that's true.
So, apologize to Dan Meskey.
The only defense I have is this is a set, not the match. So like there's a little bit of momentum there.
So they played with fight.
They played with fight in the second set from what I saw.
That's a dirty word around these parts.
Like I said, before I saw that it was like 1-1, because I literally opened it and saw the score, and I was like, oh. And then I saw what the set, and then I saw that they were tied 1, or they were already up 1 in that set, and I was like, okay, we'll watch ahead. And I was impressed with what I saw. And then the third set is really where they kind of took off.
Yeah, third set took off. Looked great. Had another. What was it? How big of a run did we have in set 3? Because I know that was another one we sort of ran from.
Yeah, that was another.
Texas sort of made it a cheek clincher late in the set, if I remember correctly.
That was the one. Was it the third set or the fourth set? We started down and we went on a 7-point run. I think it was that third set, and then we ended up taking the lead. And then they went on like a 2 or 3 run. We went on a 2 or 3 run. It kind of sat like that for the rest of the set. And I talked about this a little bit on Running with Roman, but the end of that set was really stressful. Because I think it was 20 to like...
It's 25-22.
25-22.
Or scratch
21 when it finished.
Fourth set was 25-22 bad guys.
We gave up a little bit of like a 4-point swing on the end of that set. It was almost basically handled, and then they kind of got some pressure on us at the back of the end, and then it ends on Dan Meskey calling a challenge off of the inevitable set point, which this had to be just trust in your team, because when I was watching it live, I was like, I can't believe we're about to waste a challenge on this, and then they broke it down, which, one, I would never, call out, an official for anything, but the woman who was doing the challenges just seemed like she did not like being there.
I thought the same thing watching the broadcast.
Cardinals want to challenge the line, and turn the mic off, and that was it. And then
God, asking me to do my job.
Now, he did call for 7 challenges in this game, so she was probably so annoyed. It was 10 p.m.
It's like, you can't keep getting away with this.
I know that she went to the board and was like, we got to start tying these to timeouts. There's no way we can give dudes unlimited challenges if they keep winning them. But he never really won it. And, this thing was, there had to have been a pixel of the ball on this white line, on the back line.
Yeah. And then another really strong battle, fourth set. And then I just went to sleep. I didn't watch that fifth set.
I just kind of assumed that they would finish the job.
Definitely didn't watch the whole thing happen. Definitely didn't see us have an 11-6 lead in the last set. And we definitely didn't blow it. And I definitely wasn't upset and irritated about volleyball until 12:30, 1 a.m. That certainly didn't happen. That'd be silly.
Oh, it would be terrible.
Oh, that'd be horrible.
I couldn't imagine not getting the best night's sleep of my life because of a volleyball game on a Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Maybe I have a problem.
But does it need fixing, though?
No. Exactly. Now, I will say a couple of nuggets that I missed on earlier. I'm going to probably get the last name. Kara Cresse, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. Yeah. I believe she set a program record in blocks with 14 in that game against Texas.
I'm pretty sure she tied her own program record, if I remember correctly.
Also, we have a freshman on this team who I think is going to be a lot of people's favorite players.
You talking about Blackshear?
Yeah, Calissa Blackshear.
She is crazy.
That girl can swing it, man. That is wild.
I know she started off a little bit rough. Like I said, I didn't get to watch the first set, but I saw the middle of the second set and the third set. She started off a little rough. That fourth and fifth set, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl is good.
Yeah, no, she's phenomenal. I think we keep her in the program for 4 years. She's going to end up turning into a fan favorite just because I also feel like it's really easy to root for the hitters because they're the ones who are hitting the ball and you just hear the boom go through the arena and everyone's like, whoa. So Blackshear is an easy player to root for. So, if you haven't watched a match yet, she dyes like part of her hair red, so it's obvious to find her when she's out there.
Right.
Hell of a hitter. So the only other like annoyances I had with that game, look, I get it. He's your coworker. You want to, support his kids. Can we just not openly root for Texas on the broadcast because Marcus Spears' daughter is an outside hitter for them? Like, it seemed like they were just constantly talking about how great Texas is, and Texas this, and Texas that, and Texas hit me with a wiffle ball bat. And then you'd get, like, maybe 2 seconds of a Louisville mention, then back to Texas, and the, what was the name of the camera system? The, like, Falcon radar that the SEC uses. It's the SEC camera system that we got to use. It's SEC, the SEC. We got to talk about the SEC more, or Bob Iger's going to cut my paycheck.
It just means more, Keith. Just means more.
Those were like the outside of obviously the fifth set not going our way because of like an unfortunate. I don't want to call it a choke job because it feels mean, but my God, that was a choke job.
It really was. Now, Keith, I know you didn't watch the final set and you went to bed a happy man and you were ready to go today. But when they were up and obviously they made that really big momentum swing with the save from out of bounds and but something I pointed out earlier was when they were getting on that run coming back from 11-6, we kept swinging it to the left side of the court over and over. And I think I saw like 4 or 5 blocks in a row. And I was like,
mix it up.
I was like, Blackshear has been going crazy this last 2 sets, and we're taking the ball away from her. I know you want to push it to Peyton Peterson. I know you do because she's like, she's great. But I mean,
ride the hot hand.
Mm-hmm. And then they did back towards the end, which ended up like pushing the set. Like they came back a little bit and made it really close. But it was just like I couldn't stop thinking that if we just stopped pushing the left side of the court a little bit earlier, then this would have been locked up.
Yeah, I'm really glad that I went to bed early and I definitely didn't see that. And I definitely wasn't immensely frustrated at the fact that after now I'll give Texas credit. Phenomenal job, like going after a ball, diving into like the front row of stands to bump it back into play just to salvage a rally. I definitely wasn't awake to watch and be frustrated at the fact that we didn't immediately send it back over the net at the massive opening in the court and that we just decided to set up. And I'm pretty sure we swung it left again. So certainly would have been unfortunate if I stayed up to watch that. But
that would have been terrible.
Yeah. So fortunately for the volleyball program, you have to sit in this one for a day, but they get back at it again tomorrow against Creighton, who I believe is ranked. Not 100% sure, so I'll have one of you all check me on that. I believe that game is at Creighton, so in Omaha on FS1 at 9 p.m. So volleyball cards getting back at it.
Creighton is number 18 in the nation.
Okay, 18 in the nation. So another top 25 matchup coming up. A chance for the cards to get back on the metaphorical horse and come back with a win. So, with that, let's dive back into the Game Day Men's Health text line. You all have been really helping out and carrying the show. Mike decided to bail because it's a bye week. So,
okay, real quick, I just Googled volleyball poll, and you know how Google put next to
that is a
suggested,
dangerous internet search.
Go ahead, man. I'm cutting Keith's mic off.
It'll say like people also ask, and it'll have some associated questions. One of the people also ask is 5'7" short for a female volleyball player?
I mean,
what?
Depends on
Do
the
people
position.
ask that?
That's actually funny because I was with my girlfriend last night while I was watching this game, and she was talking to me. She's like, "It's crazy when I see girls that are that tall." Like, now I'm not the tallest person ever. You guys saw me, you know that. My girlfriend's about the same height I am, and I told her, I was like, I remember one time I went out to Gersel's with my friends, and it was me and my best friend. We were hanging out. I had a couple too many, and not gonna lie, came to a little bit. Later on the night, like 2 a.m., I was mid-dance floor, getting down. And you know like that, the joke where like when you're like 5, you just gain consciousness randomly and then everything is real? Like, that was basically what happened, except I gained consciousness, and it was just 6'5" women everywhere. I literally, I actually freaked out for a second and full-on panicked. These women are almost literally a foot taller than me. I started freaking out. I immediately had to embarrassingly touch one on the really tall shoulder and have them turn around. And they asked me, they're like, "What's going on?" I was like, "I gotta ask, where are you all coming from?" And she told me there was a college volleyball tournament in town. I was like, okay, good, because I thought I was going to get robbed. I thought I was going to get jumped.
I thought for the story you should have just said, and I said, uppies.
Uppies.
It's like that Futurama episode.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna go there.
And just the sentence, I gained consciousness and there were 6'5" women everywhere. That's so.
It was a surreal moment.
Oh, I bet.
It was sobering to say the least.
I'm 6'4", and that'd be a surreal moment for me. Just like, what? How did I get here?
As someone who's happily married, I want to just state this is obviously fictional, Keith, in this scenario. You come to in that scenario, I see this as an absolute win. All right, so off that note, and back to the Game Day Men's Health text line, 502-414-1450. Louisville not having a game this weekend is probably going to help this team. If we can work on the O-line and D-line, then I think we'll be set to start ACC play. D-line, just keep doing what you're doing.
D-line,
Clev,
they're fine.
Clev, just get treatment you need to be back to 100%, because I think you got dinged up there at the end of the James Madison game.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah, just get treated, come back right, and be ready to go against Bowling Green. Defensively, go.
I am very curious to see how the secondary will be, just because of the competition faced. And the defensive line has been eaten the first 2 weeks. It hasn't really given the chance of the secondary a real chance to show they can do throughout the whole course of the game, because the defensive line is so good at getting in the backfield and getting things off schedule. I don't think they're going to get this test against Bowling Green, but once the Pitt game rolls around, that will definitely be something that I'm going to look for.
Yeah, speaking of Pitt, saw hilarious news, a hilarious quote pop up across my timeline. It was from Eli Holstein, and it was in a presser because they have the backyard brawl this weekend, which
yes.
we'll talk about that in the last segment, just like games we're excited about for the upcoming weekend. But quote from Eli Holstein, he says he expects to be flipped off by little kids and have beer and batteries thrown at him in Morgantown on Saturday.
It's Morgantown.
And he's absolutely right.
Yup. That's Morgantown for you.
Oh, absolutely. Love that. But to get back to the texter comment, yeah, offensive line, if Trevante Sylvester is actually coming back, I feel like that will help out
a ton.
Immensely, because you get your starting left tackle back. And now this is all under the assumption he plays like he did at the end of last season. Took him a while. He finally got his chance, and he came in and he looked great when they moved Monroe Mills over to the right side to kind of help him nurse what he had going on. Then you get an opportunity. I don't know if you keep Musa at right tackle or if you try to put Pounders at right tackle to see if that can help him with his game, what you need to do. Mm-hmm. But tackle is the position we were, I was most concerned about coming into the year, just because of how we had a lot of new unproven players come in, a lot of, I don't want to say lack of depth, but lack of real depth. And look, at Cam Gorin, he looked phenomenal. He was already running with the twos as a true freshman. I don't want a true freshman out there getting reps once we get to ACC play. I want to at least take a year and let puberty do its thing and turn him into a monster. So next year, yeah, sure, get him out there. But help is on the way at the tackle spot. And then we also have the Paducah Tillman. Why am I blanking on his name? He's coming in next year
Strickland.
as well.
Yep.
He's a kid whose profile is high enough. I haven't seen him in person yet, but if he's a big enough guy who's developed enough physically, maybe Gorin and Strickland are guys you roll with at tackle next year based on eligibility. But
Here's a question. For the Bowling Green game, is this the game that we see Carter Gilliam get extensive snaps?
I would love to see. He got one snap against James Madison, and it was at fullback. I was cackling when I saw that on the broadcast because they even gave him number 45 and everything. So,
hey, it was creative.
Yeah, I would love an opportunity to get Gilliam on the field, but it's also that position's really crowded at the top. You've got Church, who I believe he's a redshirt sophomore. I'm not going to say he was a rock star, but for a sophomore, he's looked pretty solid.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah, hasn't been a liability. You have Lance Robinson, who has been just a bona fide starter, looked great. Fingers crossed you don't have to keep him out at tackle and you don't have to constantly move guys around like you did in the last game.
Right.
Then Nair Jackson, Sam Seacrest, I know he's played most of his reps at center here at Louisville, but he played guard and tackle at Houston. He's another guy I'm surprised about reps. I don't know what Vic Cutler's status is, if he's going to be back or good to go or not, but it's crowded at the top. But no, I love Carter Gilliam. I love that kid's tenacity and how he plays ball, especially this is one of the last few chances that you're going to have an opportunity to probably get deep into your depth chart.
Yeah.
Would love to see him get some reps today. And then I would love to see him redshirt if he's not going to be a start of the staple. Stop using him as a fullback.
I mean, hey, if the fullback works.
That's what Jackson Pandelario is for.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, no, it's a good point how the Bowling Green game, if things do kind of go how we think and that Louisville's going to maybe not be up 41-7 at half, but at least be up a few scores at half, and so they can kind of coast towards the end of the third and into the fourth. It's going to be an opportunity for you to get reps for your guys who you anticipate on actually being the second team unit for the majority of the year. So in case that there's a dip in play by a starter or an injury comes up, you need some of those guys to be able to step up, and the way you get them acclimated to be able to step into those situations is to get them in-game reps, and this is going to be the perfect opportunity for them to do so.
Producer Matt, you had anything you want to add on that, or just letting it ride?
Just letting it ride.
All right. So on the football side, young players that I want to see, you had mentioned Carter Gilliam. He's a guy I'd like to see. If we can get, a game in hand sized lead in the second half, I'd love to see some more Trent Carter. I was really impressed with what he did against EKU. He didn't light up the stat sheet. He got the sack, but he's been running around, thumping, making contact on special teams.
Grit doesn't show up in the box score.
And I'd love to see what the combo of him and Capers looks like as the two linebackers on the field, because realistically, that is potentially an option that we're going to have looking at next year as our top two linebackers coming back on the roster.
Does Caleb Perry have another year?
I think Caleb Perry's done after this year, and I would not be shocked to see if Caleb Perry gets more of a lion's share over TJ Capers. That's just rotating in, just because I think he plays with better instincts.
Yeah, he is heading into his last year, yeah.
But yeah, Capers and Carter, that's a combination I'd like to see get some reps later in the game, just because they might be running mates next year in the linebacking core.
They might. And Trent Carter, he's looked good in spurts. Now he's not gotten a ton of run. And TJ Capers, we've seen pockets of his 5-star background really shine through. He just hasn't been able to get on the field because of injuries. He had to sit out the entire first year because he was nursing an ACL. And then in the second game of last year, he had to miss the rest of the year because of, I believe, a hand injury, which I didn't know until, I don't think many of us knew publicly, at least until fall camp. So that explains as to why he didn't get more run last year. So now that, knock on wood, he's going to be healthy and stay healthy, this is a perfect opportunity for him to get acclimated, especially with Stanquan Clark going to be out for an extended period of time.
Yeah. Other young guys that like Micah Carter. That like people will talk about AJ Green's build a ton because he has a NFL level build. 1 second. Oh, we need that cough button, Mike. Come on, get on that. The one doesn't function in here. But Micah Carter, very similar size frame, big kid, long arms, has started to develop physically and started to get some significant reps close to the end of training camp. He's a young kid who I'd be really excited to watch. I feel like he could make some real splashy plays against a team like Bowling Green. On the offensive side of the ball, I feel like the answer's obvious on young player we want to see.
Deuce Adams?
No, I was going to try and I was going to say Jamarice Wilder, but
well, he's still nursing an ankle injury. Yeah,
it's called subverting expectations. Yeah. I was trying to pull another one out.
But while we're in that position group,
Braxton Jennings.
Well, him too, because he did look good in fall camp. But I'd love to see Sean Boykins get more in-game reps because
he's fun to watch, man.
He is. I mean, he's built like a bowling ball. Kind of reminds me of this is a little bit of throwback, but of Doug Martin.
Okay, muscle hamster. I dig it. Yeah. I dig it.
And granted, it was just 1 or 2 drives that he got against EKU, and it was EKU. He looked pretty good. Looked not bad.
No, Braxton Jennings also. He looked good against EKU. Like I joked about it during training camp. Braxton Jennings runs like a guy who doesn't want his number to be 46 next year. But yeah, and then obviously like the city's going crazy for Deuce Adams. Deuce Adams mania taking over the city, and I really hope Deuce Adams Mania might take over the Game Day Men's Health text line here as we get ready for the final segment of the show. We're going to break. We'll see you back after this. Technical, and by Nexus Plus, Louisville's newest construction management company. And got a couple of funny texts during the break. But first, are you gentlemen ready to overreact to social media?
Hell yeah.
All right. We got some big news coming in. And it's a Kason Pryor has posted himself on Instagram.
There we go.
I know you told me not even to play it, but I saved it just like I couldn't help myself.
No. Kason Pryor has posted himself under the phrase "back to business," and he's in uniform, walking on the Louisville practice facility court. Walking. No limp.
So I put that man in a chair.
He's ready to go, man.
Even though he's coming off that ACL and you want him to be careful, but I mean, like, you got to get some movement in so the atrophy doesn't set in.
Not to be outdone by Roman Kelly, Kason Pryor back up and at it in the gym.
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Exactly. Look, I need any and all Louisville media powers that are out there listening. If we can get that anything you could do, I could do better ad with Roman Kelly and Kason Pryor rehabbing knee injuries, my life would be complete.
That would be hysterical.
I did get a funny text during the break to sort of shift the topics here for the last little half hour of the show. Wife tuning into the show. Love you, honey. Thank you. And she texted, and she was like, man, I was so close to texting. Hi, this is Keith's wife, first-time listener. Can we talk more about how much he gambles? Asking for a friend. And now,
this man showed me his list of active bets, and some of those on there, oh my God,
it has to be egregious. Like, I couldn't imagine. Like, I could see this man in public, sitting down, palms in his face, and he's like sweating out Bowling Green versus ETSU over in like 11 p.m. at night.
Well, no, he showed me, and the first one that I saw was Purdue. So Purdue plays USC this week, and they're hosting at West
Purdue
Lafayette?
it's at West Lafayette. Purdue's at home against USC,
and one of his bets was Purdue plus 6.5 in the first quarter.
We're doing first quarter spreads
on Purdue USC.
Hey, it's only sicko behavior if you're winning money, and that's not even the worst ones, I don't think.
I know, but just
like last year, I got addicted to last year fourth quarter Indiana spreads because Kurt Cignetti was a run up the score champion of the world. So shout out Chip Patterson of Cover 3 podcast, smoke him through the filter. So gotta always fourth quarter spread Indiana, but no, like. I've got a couple of sprinkles. I wouldn't necessarily call these ones sicko bets, but like Southern Alabama, I took a money line sprinkle on Auburn because I got it plus 1,400. And if you didn't watch,
who does Auburn play this weekend?
South Alabama.
And you put money line on South Alabama?
Yeah, little sprinkle. Like, not a ton, but it's plus 1,400 odds, and South Alabama battled with Tulane last weekend. Like,
You're not about to try and put South Alabama on me right now, Keith. I'm not accepting it.
They got a good football team down there in Mobile. I'm just saying.
Just like during the break, Matt over here tried to, really push Reds on me, had me slapping me in the face. The Reds are back. The Reds are back. I'm not letting you give me South Alabama.
All right. Well, I guess you just don't like. I know it doesn't officially count for Big X big bets, but again. The odds are too big for me to ignore. I don't the odds are plus 1,400 for a reason. But
yeah, no kidding.
If you're going to sprinkle on something, you can sprinkle on a lot worse when it comes to just trying to take a flyer on a money line team. So
I will say one of the grossest bets that I really fell in love with was last season. Man, I will never forgive Iowa for actually getting somewhat of an offense now.
Oh, because
Iowa unders. Me and my best friend would go half and half on the Iowa unders every week because every week they were like new record under for Iowa, because they kept going lower and lower, and I think we hit on like 3 of them. I remember sweating the Iowa Rutgers game at O'Shea's so hard, and then the under. Like, they over cashed because of a Rutgers pick 6. I really want to throw up.
Oh, no.
Don't you hate when turnovers ruin, like, sicko bets that you have that you're watching like that?
God, I'm looking at some of the spreads this weekend. Alabama is a 21.5-point favorite against Wisconsin.
So what you're saying, though, producer Matt, is you need to find somewhere and get yourself some action on Norfolk State at Rutgers this weekend.
Matt, it's okay. I have his mic turned off, so you can't hear him anymore. So,
my God, you're riding the Mike Vick train?
Actually, one that it's tempting. I'm probably not going to touch it, but Richmond, North Carolina, Northwestern State, Cincinnati. Incarnate Word, do they come out and play tough against UTSA?
This is disgusting.
No.
You're over there just saying words. Like,
No, you guys are being lame. You're tuning into the CW watching South Florida, Miami, the casual stuff. Meanwhile, I'm sweating out if Merrimack's going to beat Kennesaw State.
don't you dare do that. Do not put the CW curse on me, okay? I refuse to tune into anything on that.
Hey, well, you're going to be missing a banger of a game potentially then.
I mean, if Miami loses to South Florida on the CW, I mean, we already know the CW curse is real. This just like puts it in. It's concrete at this point. Like there's no denying it. Like teams will actively not want to get put on the CW.
Now, I would love that to be the case. I also actively think that I would not be shocked if South Florida just sandbags this game. Like, you've already got your massive win. You've upset Florida. You're in the driver's seat of a G6 team making the playoffs. Like, as long as you win your conference, it's you.
Yeah, but when you get that little taste of success, of top 25 success, what's the natural inclination? You want more. So what's better than upsetting a top 25 in-state rival? Doing it for the second time in a row.
You know what also would be bad, though? Losing Byron Brown for a significant portion of the season for the second time in a row.
I mean, that's the risk you take with football.
That kid's electric. I love the way he runs, too. Like, super physical. Like, the petty duck your shoulder into the safety against Florida as you're scoring a touchdown. It just it sets my soul alight with glee.
I can't get out of my head when Keith is like rolling off those bets to me. It just reminds me of the scene like in Finding Nemo whenever I think his name actually is Squirt.
Yeah, the turtle.
The turtle is talking to him and he's like telling him how to get through the current. He's like, I know he's saying things, but I just can't understand him.
Oh my God, yeah. It's like just trying to speak to me. I know it.
I know it.
I'm telling you guys, you just have to give UNLV a chance. While we're on the topic of football, we're a Louisville show. Let's steer it back to Louisville for a little bit, and then we'll save the Big X Big Bets for the last 10 minutes or so of the program. We got Louisville Football Bowl projections because they can never come early enough. Now, before we dive into some of these projections, if Louisville isn't going to make the playoffs, let's just say hypothetically we know like a genie comes and tells us, hey,
blasphemy,
Louisville's not making the playoffs, but you can have any bowl you want outside of the playoffs. What bowl are you picking?
Oh, Pop-Tarts, without a doubt.
Pop-Tarts is so
okay,
easy.
yeah, we're a lock here. I'm still
like, it's not even a choice. Like, I mean, a close second would be the Mayo Bowl because it would be hysterical to see Jeff Brom
just have mayonnaise dumped.
Yes, absolutely.
And he's the type of vibes guy. He puts off like hardo exterior when it's like vibes, fun stuff. He'd 100% do it.
Like, he smile on his face when he got
leather helmet.
When he won the leather helmet in that opener in 23. When they won the Sun Bowl and he got all the what was it? The Frosted Flakes dumped on him. He grabs them off his shoulder and starts eating them. Like when he's winning, like the vibes are immaculate with him. So if they win the Duke's Mayo Bowl, oh hell yeah, I want to see Jeff Brom get doused with mayonnaise. Like he'd be ecstatic.
I know they have a deal with NFL, but can we get like the Nickelodeon Slime Bowl out there if we're gonna have bowls? Like I'm trying to see imagine like Isaac Brown runs in for a touchdown as the clock goes, and then just slime just slams him in the face. Like it would be hilarious.
Get like the Nickelodeon alternate broadcasts. That would be funny.
I watch those more than the actual broadcasts. They're so funny. I can't I can't get the clip out of my head of Patrick Starr narrating Russell Wilson's interception.
Oh my God! No. Yeah.
That's what we call an intraception.
They did not let him cook.
That was so funny.
So yeah, unified agreement here, Pop-Tarts. Well, I'm still beating myself up that the second year they put out merch. They had like polos and pullovers that were just available for sale, and I didn't buy one, and I hate myself for it.
They also get to eat the giant Pop-Tart after the game. I'm playing my starters just for that.
Which,
heck yeah.
Honestly, I'm sort of crafting a takeover here, especially bowls that revolve around a food company. That's what you need to be to boost the prestige of your game, and that will get more prominent players to play in them. Look at the Pop-Tart Bowl last year. You only got them for a half, but you had the number 1 draft pick playing in a bowl game that wasn't the playoffs. Cam Ward, again, only played a half, but he played a bowl game because it was the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Because there's so much publicity and hype and just fun around the product. And people tune in and watch that game, not just because it's sicko gambling, but because it's actually a fun product. If you're a food service company, that's the model that you need to try and mold your game after.
Who would be the best food brands to take into this bowl? When you take it, like if they wanted like Pop-Tarts Bowl of this, like who would be the next best like food brand? Gosh,
you're asking the tricky questions. What's that boxed steak company?
Steakum?
Not Steakum, but just like
something
like that. The Meat Bowl, and it's just like,
is that the Omaha Steak Company or something? You're talking about?
Maybe,
or like
yeah, something like that. No free ads here, but yeah, one of those like mail delivery meat services, and it's just a meat bowl, and you just have a big old Bubba like working a smoker on the sideline the whole game, and then the teams just come devour a bunch of smoked meats as the post game.
I was sitting here thinking, like, what local business in Louisville would be the funniest to have a bowl? Like, could you imagine like the Salsaritas Bowl, and like at the end of the game they like take a bath in queso?
Okay, the Mama's. Okay, same idea, but Mama's barbecue.
Mama's barbecue.
Just big old boy smoking some wings on the sidelines.
Oh, that'd be so. I'd be taking a break. Like
Keith, you said mail delivery meat service.
I'm so proud of you for letting that pass, even if you did have to.
Well, no, I heard it and I thought you meant mail as in like
MALE.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like my mind was like, we're really just going there. It's like, oh wait, no, mail is in the post office.
Scoots Hater said, blanking Twinkies, bro.
The Twinkies Bowl. Oh, okay. You have the Twinkie mascot get ripped in half, and it's just like a Twinkie on the inside, and then all the players going out. Okay, I can see the vision.
What if we did like a brand rivalry bowl where like it's like Lil Debbie versus Hostess, and each team takes one?
The Coca-Cola Bowl, the Pepsi Bowl. See, this is the type of thing brands should be doing. You can make fun programming out of this.
Mascot letting players.
Hey, we saw a Pop-Tart jump into a toaster and then get devoured alive. Don't say it's impossible.
No, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's hysterical.
Let me see. Okay, it's not first text ever, but someone teased the Dean's Milk Bowl.
Oh, man.
That's what I'm
Well, I mean, it is a bowl.
Scoots Hater, producer Matt thinks you're onto something there. That I could see like a bowl game where like two rivalry brands of a similar product who like have the two teams, and then like you can give the team some NIL funding as well to incentivize their star players to play in the game, and then those teams competing representing the two brand, like the Coke versus Pepsi Cola or Soda Bowl or something like.
That's actually a really interesting take. I didn't think about that. So, what if we pushed NIL to the point where like the brands obviously don't want to give up the bowl games because that's a lot of money every single year they're paying for them. What if the incentive was that, let's say you win the Tony the Tiger Frosted Flakes Bowl, and then is it Kellogg that owns them, I think?
Yeah.
Or what,
Yeah.
What if Kellogg has to give $200,000 to that team's NIL fund or something like that?
Maybe not as like a prize pool game, but like the teams that get invited and accept the invite, if you're playing in the game, the teams can offer NIL incentives. Words are hard. Who was it? The radio or the broadcaster said, "I'm not a words guy."
Oh yeah,
as a broadcast a game. But you have a pool of money to then utilize on players on those teams to advertise for NIL. It would also work if you have like, oh, this 4-star guy who washes out to a lower program, his program makes a bowl game, and now he gets to put his face in the public light. You're doing ads for that bowl game. Boosters are going to see that ad and then be like, I want that kid back on my program.
It's kind of like how in basketball they have the Players Era tournament where like the grand prize is like, I don't want to say it's $1 million in NIL, but it's like it's up there. It could be something along those lines where the winner like gets to inherit like a pool of NIL money.
I mean, that also could be. So I didn't know if there was allowed to be like play for NIL pool style of bowl games, but pardon me, that's a good way to get your prominent players like actively playing in bowl games again. Like, hey, you're sitting out for the money. We'll give you X amount to advertise our product for this bowl game that you're playing in.
So I was trying to think of another food that would make for a good bowl, and I was thinking, okay, Pop-Tarts, they have a lot of flavors. What's another product that has a lot of different flavors? And I don't know if this is an indictment on me, but the first thing I thought of was Burnett's vodka.
Oh my god.
It would be interesting, would it not? The Burnett's vodka bowl?
Leave that back in 2013 where it belongs.
I went and did a search, and you got me curious. I went and looked up the "I'm not a words guy" quote.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's from Thom Brennan.
Oh, no. Only the second worst thing he said on a hot mic.
And it is in the same. It's in the same broadcast. He says it afterward.
That was in the same broadcast?
That was him explaining himself or something like that.
No. There was one recently where it was a football game where someone.
Oh, okay. That was the one that came up for me.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, man, that's a really low light there.
Yeah, we got a couple of texts into the Game Day Men's Health text line. I'm going to dive into Lazard guy here. Give me that Dean's blimp back.
Yes.
The Dean's milk blimp. That's not at the basketball games anymore, is it?
Yeah, it hasn't been there for a few years. What happened to the Dean's blimp?
And then Scoots Hater hopping in with what about Jif peanut butter or pretzels? Hey, I back in my past life, I worked with Snyder's of Hanover, pretzels company out of Pennsylvania. I don't know if they'd want to sponsor a bowl game at the Link in November, December, but let's make it happen. That's another thing I want, more northern bowl games. Too many bowl games are in warm locations. It's lame. But to get back to these bowl projections, we'll cycle through these. 24/7 Sports has us shipping off to Boston to play in the Fenway Bowl against ECU.
And I saw another projection that had them in the Pinstripe Bowl as well.
Oh, I've got a list right here. CBS Sports, which, of course, they're the same. CBS Sports owns 247, don't they? Or am I missing something?
No, they don't.
Yeah. CBS Sports also projects Fenway Bowl against ECU.
We're gunning for the NL East title or AL East title. Good Lord, I have my division screwed up. My God, this is what the Reds have done to me. I'm getting apathetic.
Sports Illustrated has us going to the Military Bowl. A little bit of flashbacks to the last administration for that game. I believe the last time we played there. This time, though, it would be against... Oh, no, never mind. That wasn't the Military Bowl when we played Air Force. Disregard.
That was the First Responder Bowl.
Yeah, this would be our maiden voyage into the Military Bowl, I believe sponsored by Lockheed Martin, where they project us to play UTSA, so San Antonio. Ooh. Hey, no one leak Luke McCown our plays if we do end up in that game.
That whole mess was hysterical.
ESPN, Kyle Bonagorda has us going to the Pinstripe Bowl in New York and having us play Minnesota. I would love to play the Gophers just because I don't know why, but I've had a lifelong, just aggressive feud against PJ Fleck ever since he ran Muhammad Ibrahim 30-something times in a first half, caused him to get injured and ruined his career. He was just one of those random players you loved watching because he was good, that his career got snapped short because PJ Fleck doesn't know how to call anything other than run ball.
I know, and Mo Ibrahim was so good, too.
Mark Schleybaugh, Man 101, Holiday Bowl in San Diego against Arizona State. That would be a fun one. I would really like to go to a bowl game not as geographically as far from Louisville as possible.
But if they did go back to the Holiday Bowl, it's not in Petco Park anymore. It's at Snapdragon.
So I imagine USA Today isn't on that list.
Athlon Sports has us going to Jacksonville playing Bama in the Gator Bowl.
I would
honestly,
I would love.
If we're gonna get a crack at Bama, this is the year. I would love that.
I remember it was FSU's game last week where you know how during the Saban era you would have signs that say "We want Bama." This person had that sign, but they crossed it out and said "We want Florida State."
Yeah. So that was Athlon Sports, and then 4 straight have us going to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. College football news against Texas A&M. Sporting News Bill Bender against South Carolina. Pro Football Network against Alabama. and the Athletic against Tennessee. All of those would be really fun matchups to watch.
Especially South Carolina with Lenora Sellers, Dylan Stewart. Now, would they actually play in that bowl?
Nick Harbor.
That's
a spooky. Honestly, just have him and Isaac Brown in a foot race, and let's just make that the bowl game. That'd be electric content. USA Today, producer Matt. Fenway Bowl. Us against
they gave us one.
Yeah, they gave us one this time.
Not Memphis in the playoff?
They gave us Louisville versus Temple in the Fenway Bowl. And then Jerry Palm Brackets has us also in the Duke's Mayo Bowl against Tennessee, which, again, if we're going to get a program, like, honestly, Tennessee, I feel like this is a good year to get them. So,
well, not really, because Tennessee's off to a really good start this year. Like Joey Aguilar, I mean,
yeah,
it's so far it looks like Tennessee won the Nico Joey trade.
All right, so we got a couple more texts, and then we'll get into Big X, Big Bets. We only got about 4 minutes left in the show here. So, Scootator, just more suggestions. Brought up fruit snacks, like a Welch's fruit snack bowl.
Oh, man.
Dump a cooler full of fruit snacks on a coach.
The Scooby-Doo fruit snack bowl, that would be insane.
And then someone...
Oh, hold on. We have some news.
Breaking news?
Well, breaking, yes, but like not major news, but it was talking about the subject earlier. News, courtesy of Joe Tipton of On3. 2026 top 15 recruit Tay Kenny will announce his college commitment on September 28th.
Ooh.
So we have a timeline.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So, all right. A little bit of a Matt McGavick banger to end the show. Love that. Back to the Game Day Men's Health text line. Kool-Aid Bowl. Each team can take a flavor packet of their team's color. I dig that. I dig that idea. So thank you all for hopping in on the Game Day Men's Health text line. We've got a few minutes left here. Now, I'm not going to get a chance to be on tomorrow to talk about some college football over the weekend. So Big X, Big Bets. We got a couple of games tonight. Let's start off in the world of college football. If you want to watch some college ball, got one that could potentially be a fun one tonight. NC State taking on Wake Forest. So, depending on your book of choice, you can get Wake Forest getting up to as many as 9.5 points, and you can get NC State giving up as little as 7 points, depending on the book, for odds that are under minus 120 is what I usually use for my standard.
Yeah.
So, well, let's just say 7.5 for the sake of a spread. Producer Matt, who you got?
I unfortunately can't give these out because I have to give them out during Roman's recap.
Oh, he's got Roman's recap. No. I like it.
I have to save him for that.
That's what we call for a tease. Okay.
All right, give me the bets. I'm probably going to go with NC State just because like Wake Forest looks terrible. Now, granted, NC State's offense. Oh no, their defense hasn't looked like it has been in days past with under Dave Doran, but their offense with C.J. Bailey and Hollywood Smothers, like it can put up some points.
Not just a great name, great running back, big Hollywood Smothers guy. So I was leaning Wolfpack as well. Pardon me. On the NFL side tonight, we got Green Bay and the Washington Commandos. And Lazard guy getting a text in at the gun, and I'm going to read it just because it has to do with the game. Golden anytime and love first touchdown tonight for the D-Gens out there. We're just going to stick with the spread. You can get Green Bay at 2.5. That's odds are too low. We'll stick with, we'll go 3.5. Green Bay giving up 3.5. Washington getting 3.5. Matt, who you got?
I think Green Bay wins fairly convincingly. I know the Washington's really good, and Jaden Daniels is a star in the making, but that Green Bay defense looked phenomenal against the Lions. I mean, they've got probably one of the more complete offenses in Green Bay in a while with guys like Golden and Wicks and Reed and Jake. I can't remember who's the running back again. It's not Jacobs. He's gone. I'm blanking.
A.J. Dillon?
Well, no, there's someone else up there. But regardless, that's one of the better offenses that Green Bay's had in a while. So I'm going to take them to cover.
Not a huge NFL guy, but give me Jalen Daniels. That guy's fun to watch. And then just for me personally, best bet of the weekend, give me Florida plus 7.5 against LSU. Thank you all again for tuning into the Mike Rutherford Show here on Big X Sports Radio. Mike will be back with you tomorrow, as well as producer Matt. Matt McGavick, thank you for tuning in. Producer Matt, thanks for producing the show. And as always, go Cards!
Go Cards!
Go Cards.
Rutherford Show was brought to you by United Mechanical. John Burke's United Mechanical is your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration needs. Call United Mechanical at 502-33